Sometimes I think about how a peaceful life can be shattered by a single small mistake, and then an unexpected, unfortunate connection can be formed. I just didn't want to get involved with my senior. The moment I saw you, I knew today was going to be a terrible day. The speaker is Adrian, Crown Prince of the Veneti Empire. This isn't right. And there's also my senior, with whom I don't get along. Liz Frohman spoke up without hesitation. Well, thanks for saying exactly what I was thinking. Adrian shot her a contemptuous look. Isn't class time right now? Wandering around like this, what a fine example you are. Liz crossed her arms. We only have morning classes today. If anything, senior, you're the true model of a diligent student. Adrian replied sarcastically. I'm not like certain people. I'm busy. I just came from a student council meeting. Liz answered bluntly. Then please go ahead. Don't disturb an innocent junior. Adrian stopped walking. I was planning to, but I have a habit of saying things directly. Liz's words were as sharp as needles. What a lovely personality you have. By the way, does your fiancé know what you're really like? Adrian's red eyes instantly flared with anger. Liz covered her mouth with her hand and smiled sweetly. I mean, Senior Bayard, I'm just worried you'll be accused of marriage fraud someday. Adrian's smile carried a trace of malice. I could take care of myself. No need for your concern. He looked down at Liz. I'm more worried about your future husband. If you ever get married, be sure to tell me. I'll go comfort him. Liz spun around sharply. There's really no way to have a normal conversation with you. In the end, the two stood back to back and shouted at the same time that after graduation, it would be best never to see each other again. That's right, Liz thought with disdain. How funny. Mind your own business first. Adrian had the same mocking inner monologue. If I were Bayard, I would never marry a woman like you. At the Grand Ducal Estate, Liz let out a long sigh. I'm back. A voice asked, did you fight with Senior Adrian again? Liz stopped in place. How did you know? Karna smiled. I could tell just by looking at your face. Carnelia Cecil, usually called Karna. Liz flopped straight onto the bed. He has such a twisted personality. Karna corrected her. Only when it comes to you. Liz's expression turned serious. That's true. I was the one who started it. Aside from being the Count's only daughter, I'm just an ordinary student. But there is one thing unusual about me. I'm very clever. I can read what people are really thinking. I could instantly tell Senior's smile was fake. Maybe that wasn't a coincidence. Adrian smiled among the crowd, gentle and perfect, but the strange discomfort I felt when I first saw him was confirmed at the student assembly. Flashback. As the student representative, he stood at the podium looking down at everyone. A faint haze passed through Liz's green eyes. Now I understand. Senior Adrian's smile is fake. Liz suddenly clapped a hand over her mouth. Crap, I said out loud. If he heard, his heart sank. No way. Please don't. And it was that very day that I first saw Senior Adrian's fake smile completely disappear. The beginning of this unfortunate relationship was definitely my fault. Even so, ever since then, he treated everyone else kindly, but kept picking on me alone. Liz let out a soft sigh. That jerk's future empress is actually Senior Bayard. Bayard, the only legitimate daughter of Duke Chadia, is Adrian's classmate. Everyone knows she has feelings for Crown Prince Adrian, and she has never tried to hide it. Everyone was certain Senior Bayard would marry Senior Adrian. There were even rumors that their engagement had long since been settled. I truly feel sorry for Senior Bayard. She has no idea what Senior Adrian is really like. Though she hates me too. Liz asked Karna, why does Senior Bayard hate me? Karna answered calmly, Liz, it's because you're close to Senior Adrian. Liz looked horrified. Are you crazy? Karna looked innocent. Isn't that true? You say you and Senior Adrian don't get along, but to other people, you seem very close. Every time you meet, you talk for at least 10 minutes. Who wouldn't think you were close? People who dislike each other usually avoid seeing each other. Liz's face turned red. That's because he's always the one who starts talking first. Even when I try to ignore him and avoid this whole relationship, Senior Adrian picks a fight every time he sees me. Karna asked, besides you, who else does Senior Adrian act that freely around? There are other people he's close to, but the way he interacts with them is completely different from how he is with you. Liz turned away, unwilling to accept that explanation. That's not freedom. It's just rude. No matter how I think about it, it feels awful. Sleepiness came over her like a tide. I'm so sleepy. Liz's heavy green eyes blinked slowly. She mumbled, Karna, I'm going to sleep first. Karna asked if she wanted to wash up, then immediately saw that Liz had already fallen asleep. She could only say goodnight. And just like that, I drifted into a deep sleep as usual. Layla bent down and called out, time to get up. Karna, let me sleep a little longer. You don't have afternoon classes, do you? I'm not Karna. I'm Layla. Come now. You need to get up and prepare for breakfast. Otherwise, you'll be late. Liz was still half asleep and confused. Breakfast? We don't eat breakfast. If you're late, His Majesty the Emperor will be waiting for you. At those words, Liz's eyes flew open. What? Who's waiting? His Majesty the Imp Emperor? Layla smiled at her. Who are you? Layla merely assumed Liz still hadn't fully woken up. Smiling, she said, My lady, you're still groggy. You need to get ready. Liz looked utterly baffled. Ready? Ready for what? The maid said, Your bath is already prepared. Layla clasped her hands together. If you hurry now, you'll be ready before His Majesty arrives. Layla instructed the two maids. You two, help me. The rest of you, prepare her clothes for after the bath. The maids answered in unison. Yes, understood. Each maid grabbed one of Liz's arms. Come on, my lady, get up. Liz was completely lost and had no idea what was happening. Before I could even react, they grabbed my arms and dragged me away. Oh, wait. The next moment, I was placed into a bathtub filled with warm water and flower petals. This feels nice. It's so warm. But what exactly am I doing right now? This is not the time for something like this. Where did Karna go? Where am I exactly? I've never seen such a luxurious, antique-style room before. And these dresses and jewels are so extravagant. These things must be priceless. Layla respectfully said, My lady, please take a look. Is this really me? It wasn't just a feeling, and it wasn't only because I was wearing gorgeous clothes. It felt as though I had become an adult, as if I had come to the future. Knock, knock. A voice announced from outside the door. His Majesty the Emperor has arrived. Liz's face filled with alarm. The Emperor? Seeing Liz still dazed, Layla reminded her, My lady, His Majesty the Emperor has arrived. I was confused, but I couldn't keep His Majesty waiting outside. Liz said, Let him in. You may all leave. This is strange. Does His Majesty's voice sound this young? I clearly remember the Emperor being over 40. The Emperor spoke. Liz Fromon. Liz froze at the sound of the voice. That person was senior. Liz pointed at Adrian in shock. Hey, why are you here? Adrian said, I don't know. When I opened my eyes, I was in the Imperial Palace instead of the Academy. Cold sweat broke out on Liz's skin as she asked, but there's something I'm concerned about. Your Majesty, when exactly did you ascend the throne? Adrian's expression sharpened. He asked in confusion, Then when exactly did you become Empress? At those words, Liz froze. What? Adrian asked, Then when exactly did you become Empress? Liz stood rooted to the spot, her green eyes trembling in shock. Her whole body went rigid. What? Liz's mind went blank. It was like being struck by lightning. What? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. I married you? Impossible. How could the future turn out like this? Liz fell into thought. One hand braced under her chin, her gaze confused and heavy. Adrian broke the silence. Let's figure out what's going on first. You talk. Liz began to explain. After I parted ways with you yesterday, I fell asleep in my dorm room. She recalled herself lying in bed, peacefully asleep. But when I woke up, I was here. Adrian said, After finishing sword practice at the training grounds, I returned to my dorm and fell asleep. Then I woke up here. Adrian's gaze grew deeper. Now that I think about it, I feel like I had a dream, but I can't remember the details. Liz jerked her head up. You too? She began thinking. The only strange thing is, I had a dream too. She shook her head irritably. Forget it. No matter how much I think about it, I can't make sense of it. Adrian said, Don't think about that for now. We need to focus on the royal breakfast. Liz looked up. The royal breakfast? You mean breakfast with His Majesty the Emperor? Adrian's gaze shifted toward the dining table. That person is His Majesty the Emperor. Liz ate stiffly. The food tasted like wax in her mouth. The awkwardness was driving her insane. The former emperor spoke leisurely. You've already been on the throne for 4 years. Liz's pupils contracted sharply. 4 years? 4 years have passed. Adrian noticed something was off. Are you all right? Liz suddenly choked and covered her mouth. I'm Fina. The former emperor sighed with emotion. Time really flies. He handed over a glass of water. Drink. Liz took the glass. Senior, you've never even been emperor before, so how can you act this naturally? She took a sip. To lie so calmly in front of His Majesty. That's really something. That false smile. Adrian's expression instantly darkened. He clenched his teeth and his eyes flashed red. What's with that expression change? Especially in front of father. The former emperor asked with concern, My dear, have you been feeling unwell lately? Liz trembled all over. My dear, that form of address made my skin crawl. She forced a smile. Not at all. I've been very comfortable. The former emperor spoke gently. Is that so? You're quieter than usual today. I was a little worried. You usually call me father so sweetly and make me very happy. An image flashed through Liz's mind. A girl calling out sweetly, Father. Was that really me? Seeing Adrian struggle to suppress a laugh, Liz cried inwardly. That's not fair, Senior. Don't just stand there laughing. Unlike you, I'm not good at acting. Father, you two are having so much fun talking that I can't even get a word in. Liz's cheeks flushed red as she gave an awkward smile. Adrian burst out laughing. Liz glared at him, puffing up in annoyance. Go on, laugh. Laugh all you want. The former emperor laughed warmly. I see. Seeing you smile, your child must be adorable too. Adrian forced out a stiff smile. Yes, very adorable indeed. Then the former emperor changed the subject. So when will I get to hold my grandchild? Liz sprayed the water from her mouth all at once. Her whole body turned to stone. The water she spat out landed without reserve all over Adrian's face. It felt as though the air in the room had frozen solid. Liz looked at him in horror. The former emperor looked stunned. Liz asked fearfully, Are you all right? Adrian wore a twisted smile as he wiped his face with a handkerchief. With you here, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. I'm fine. The former emperor rose to his feet. Would you like to come with me? Adrian said, No, I'd like to be alone with the empress for a while. The former emperor looked puzzled. Empress? Don't you two usually call each other Liz and Ade? Could it be that you had a fight? Adrian quickly shook his head. No, I'd like to be alone with Liz. With Liz. He forced a radiant smile. Liz screamed inwardly, Don't do that. Father, Adrian is grinding his teeth. The former emperor laughed heartily. All right. You've only been married 3 years. Of course, you should want to stay attached at the hip. Liz and Adrian both let out a breath of relief at the same time. They both looked utterly exhausted. The former emperor left with a smile, leaving the two of them behind. A cold smile curled at Adrian's lips. You did that on purpose, didn't you? Liz forced an awkward smile. Senior, calm down first. Adrian said, I feel like your face is giving off a certain emotion. Liz denied it. That's just your imagination. My imagination? Adrian looked at her knowingly. Liz turned her head away in panic. In a lowered voice, she said, Let's sort out the situation first. This is the future. It's 5 years after my graduation and your ascension. Adrian's voice continued. Golden images of their wedding flashed before them. Second, we've been married for 3 years. Before he could finish, both of them recoiled in shock. This is insane. I must be losing my mind. 5 years into the future, and I still have to marry someone like you? Liz felt sick. This has to be a nightmare. She looked straight at Adrian. This must be a dream. He replied softly, hopefully. Liz's eyes turned sharp. Senior, they say you can't feel pain in dreams. Adrian looked at her. So? A hint of slyness flashed in Liz's eyes. If I slapped you, you'd hit me back without hesitation, right? Adrian snorted dismissively. Do you even need to ask? Liz made up her mind. In that case, there's only one choice. She hardened her resolve and slapped herself hard across the face. Adrian clearly hadn't expected that. He stared at Liz in shock. Senior? Adrian looked at her. You look a little scary right now. Why did you suddenly slap yourself? The two stared at each other. Liz dropped her head in discouragement. So this isn't a dream. Adrian said irritably, What a remarkable discovery you've made. Liz thought. Honestly, Adrian bent down and gently touched her cheek, his gaze deep. Liz's heart skipped a beat. His fingertips landed on her cheek, bringing both warmth and weight. The corners of her lips rose without her noticing. Her heart pounded wildly in her chest, but the fantasy was instantly ripped apart by sharp pain. Adrian was pinching her cheek hard, his face full of anger. Who slaps their own face that roughly? He scolded in a low voice. You really have no sense of restraint. Don't you realize that you are the Empress now? What if someone saw that? Liz's face was twisted from being pinched, but she still shouted back unwillingly. No one saw it anyway. It's fine, Adrian said coolly. In any case, you seem to understand now that this isn't a dream. The best thing we can do is face this situation and act without arousing any suspicion. A trace of panic flashed in Liz's eyes. I know, but her voice trembled. Senior, aren't you afraid? Maybe you can accept all this. Maybe you can calmly analyze the situation. But I can't. I am scared. I just went to sleep, and when I woke up, it was 5 years later, and I become Empress. It feels so strange. People I don't know all seem to know me well. What kind of person is the future me? What was I thinking when I married you, Senior? Why is something like this happening to me? Adrian's lips moved. He suddenly turned around. Go back to your room. Without looking back, he walked away, leaving Liz standing there in a daze. Liz hurried after him. What do you mean, even I? If you don't explain, I'll be too curious to sleep. Adrian kept walking without turning back. It's nothing. Liz pressed him. What exactly is it? Adrian opened a door. Come in first. Liz still kept asking. No, what were you going to say? Adrian stopped and slowly turned around. He suddenly bent down close to Liz's face, his voice low. If even I feel uneasy. Liz froze. She asked, why did you stop halfway through? Adrian looked a little awkward. Suddenly, it didn't seem necessary to say it. Liz corrected him. If you don't say it out loud, other people won't know. Adrian looked puzzled. Do you really need to know? Liz explained. If you don't say it, people might misunderstand. Adrian looked at her. You think so too? Liz answered firmly. Of course. If you don't say it, other people won't know. No matter how sharp I am, I can't read minds. Adrian froze. Then, someone hurried over. Your Majesty the Empress. Liz asked, do you know that person? Adrian replied, uncertainly. Maybe. With bright enthusiasm, the man said, ah, Your Majesty, of course. Everyone knows how deeply attached you and Her Majesty the Empress are, but you still mustn't grow careless because of it. Liz thought, what on earth did our future selves take for him to say something like that? Adrian turned to leave. Anyway, I have to go. See you later. The man apologized. Your Majesty the Empress, I'm sorry. I wasn't able to greet you properly just now. Liz laughed and said, it's all right. Thinking back to what I just saw, it seemed no one would dare get angry anyway. The man said, oh, right. There's only 1 week left now. Liz scratched her cheek in confusion and forced herself to sound calm. Sorry, my memory hasn't been very good lately. What happens in a week? The man looked surprised. What, you forgot? If you're feeling unwell, I'll call for a doctor right away. The man explained, it's none other than Liz asked in confusion, what exactly? Layla's voice came from a distance. Was breakfast to your liking? Liz looked up. What? Oh, yes. There was nothing wrong with breakfast itself. The problem was the news I heard afterward. Layla continued, it's the celebration party for your 3rd wedding anniversary. Liz's expression instantly froze. The words celebrating 3 years exploded before her eyes. A celebration party? What am I supposed to do? I absolutely can't slip up in front of everyone. Liz crossed her arms irritably. Layla looked at her in confusion. As she spoke, she reached out to feel Liz's forehead. Why would you say something like that? You don't have a fever, do you? Liz forced a smile. I'm Euphine. Layla studied her. Madam, you're acting a little strange today. A chill ran down Liz's back. What do I do? Senior will suspect me before I've even begun. She kept up her forced smile. Really? I feel the same as always. Layla suddenly laughed. I know. Layla's voice softened. You haven't changed at all. You're still such a warm person. I still love and respect you very much. A faint smile curved Layla's lips. But if there's anything I can help with, please tell me. Liz's expression shifted slightly. Layla continued, you already saved me once. Liz understood. I see. The future me and Layla aren't merely mistress and servant. This was completely different from the servants in the Count's household. It had nothing to do with the majesty of the imperial palace and nothing to do with my status as empress. What filled those eyes was complete trust and affection. What exactly happened between me and the future Layla? To be loved by someone like that really is a blessing. But the person who created that deep, affectionate gaze wasn't me. It was the future me. Liz gave her a warm smile. Thank you, Layla. I miss Karna so much. This was my 2nd morning in the future. The palace stood in the morning light, grand and imposing. A breeze blew past, and Liz felt awkward. First thing in the morning, she was alone with Senior again. She broke the silence. Have you finished handling all your work? Adrian held a cup in his hand. There was less work than I expected. It seems that side handled things well. Adrian inspected her sharply. Liz stiffened all over. More importantly, you didn't do anything suspicious, did you? Liz avoided his gaze. Of course not. Adrian's eyes were uncompromising. You did, didn't you? Liz pouted in dissatisfaction. Honestly, a senior with sharp instincts really is the biggest pain. Adrian said, anyway, I have something to tell you. Liz answered first. Is it about being careful not to get found out? Don't worry, I won't make mistakes. Adrian shook his head. Not that exactly, though it's related. His expression grew serious. You need to recognize your position. My position? The position of Empress. That role isn't as easy as you think. Liz's pupils contracted. Liz suddenly slapped the table. I never looked down on it. Adrian's tone was cold. Good. In any case, the ministers will focus their attention on the Empress. There are many people who have their eyes on that position. They will always try every possible way to find a weakness. If you reveal any flaw at all, it will affect me as well. Adrian pressed his fingers to his brow, looking exhausted. Liz spoke softly. Senior, you look really tired. The future me is really causing unnecessary trouble. Liz sighed. Anyway, I understand what you mean. She forced a smile. In simple terms, you want me to play the role perfectly and avoid arousing any suspicion, right? Adrian answered crisply. Yes. Liz lowered her eyes. I'll do my best. Adrian then changed the subject. Good. And as for our current situation, we also need to find out why we woke up 5 years in the future. Liz looked up. I want that too. But how are we supposed to do it? Adrian asked back. Are we supposed to just search around aimlessly? Liz thought, what? You don't actually have a plan? She looked away. I can wait for now. What matters now is what I just said. You know that in 1 week, it will be the celebration of our 3rd wedding anniversary. Adrian continued. At that time, all the ministers will be present. You absolutely cannot make any mistakes. He turned away. If you understand, we'll stop here for today. I still have work. Come again tomorrow. Liz watched him walk away. Good work. The sound of Adrian's footsteps receded. No wonder he didn't want to go to work. Liz remembered a crying official. The man named Reuben had been crying beside him yesterday, saying, "Your Majesty, please review this document too." Adrian suddenly stopped and looked back. "Don't be too afraid." Liz abruptly looked up. What? Then she suddenly understood. Is he afraid I'll make mistakes because I'm scared? Visions of the party and the ball flashed through her mind. Social parties, banquets, balls. All of these occasions had one thing in common. You had to dance with a partner. A voice echoed in her mind. You can refuse to dance, but that is the fastest way to ruin your reputation in high society. Liz's face went pale, and I'm terribly bad at dancing. The trauma of falling down at my very first social debut in childhood still feels like a nightmare. Adrian pressed a hand to his temple. By the way, the banquet opens with our dance. Liz clenched her fists. Then let's kill the organizer. She screamed inwardly in complete breakdown. We have to kill them. If we kill the organizer, maybe the banquet won't happen. Adrian's voice was firm. Preparations have already begun. Even if you kill them, it won't be canceled. Liz drooped in despair. How can that be? I see. Adrian stretched out his hand in confusion. Is there a problem? Liz wailed inwardly. There are too many problems. That's the problem. Adrian reminded her, the banquet is 5 days away. You didn't forget what I said, did you? Liz's hand tightened around her skirt. Yes, but she admitted with difficulty, actually, I can't dance. A flicker passed through Adrian's eyes. The corners of his mouth lifted slightly. Do you know the steps? I do, but before she could finish, Liz imagined herself stomping hard onto Adrian's shoes. Liz froze in horror. Adrian lowered his eyes. Fine, stand up. He extended a hand. His hand grasped Liz's. Liz looked up, and light returned to her eyes. Adrian's voice rang out. I'll go slower. Follow my steps. Liz looked dumbfounded. What? We're dancing here and now? Adrian's answer left no room for argument. Yes. He pulled Liz closer, and she cried out, oh, wait. Adrian blurted out a warning. Don't step on me. If you step on me, I'll die. Liz apologized in panic. Saw thee. Adrian's voice carried a trace of helplessness. I told you to follow the steps, not step on my feet. Liz took a deep breath. I know. Focus. Focus. Then came another heavy stomp. Sorry. Adrian sighed. It's fine. Dance however you want. And just like that, I kept practicing with Senior until the sun set. Practice continued deep into the night. Whenever Layla wasn't around, I seized the time to practice dancing. Night fell. Liz practiced alone. Time passed quickly, and I grew more and more anxious. Nobles began entering the imperial palace. Carriages rolled toward the grand halls. This was the first time I had practiced dancing this hard. I should be making far fewer mistakes now, right? If only Senior were here, I could at least show off a little. Unfortunately, ever since that day, Senior never came again. He seemed to be very busy. It couldn't be helped. This was Senior's, more precisely, future Senior's, banquet. What in the world was my Senior thinking? 3 days remained until the banquet. Liz looked out the window. Carriages were filing in one after another. Those were the nobles arriving for the wedding anniversary banquet. Since this was a commemorative banquet for the Emperor and Empress, most of the nobility had surely come to attend. Watching the distant figures moving about, she clenched her fists. I can't let them look down on me. I have to practice dancing even more. Liz suddenly turned around. What? Layla announced. Lady Bayard is here. Liz was momentarily confused. Who? The name made her green eyes widen at once. It was that Senior Bayard. Before coming to the future, back at the academy, she had been the strongest candidate to become Empress. She had even once been engaged to Senior. Senior Bayard Chadia. And she hates me. Just like Karna said, because I had ties to Senior, I was probably an eyesore to her. But no matter what, Senior Bayard was supposed to become Empress in the end. Anyway, once we graduated, everything was supposed to be over, so I didn't care. But now I had become Empress, and Senior Bayard was asking to see me. I wasn't confident I could avoid her suspicion, but if I avoided her now, that would only seem stranger. No, I had no intention of avoiding her either. Liz said to Layla, prepare for the meeting. Layla answered yes. Meeting someone who dislikes me is painful. Even if I don't want to look, I still end up seeing the expression on their face. And they will be watching my expression too, so I also have to control my own expression carefully. Would the Bayard of 5 years later still feel hostility toward me? Bayard spoke. Congratulations, Your Majesty. Congratulations on your 3rd wedding anniversary. Liz answered calmly, Thank you, my lady. Liz gazed into Bayad's eyes. Contempt, hatred, resentment. Those eyes were filled with every kind of negative emotion. As expected, she hates me even more than she did 5 years ago. It felt as though something heavy had pressed down on my chest. Fragments of a scene from 5 years ago flashed through my mind. My hand unconsciously tightened around a napkin. Hearing those words felt like being sentenced all over again. Bayad said, "Time really flies, doesn't it? You've already been married 3 years." Liz picked up the conversation. Yes, Liz thought, just as expected. This conversation is painfully awkward. It seems she had no intention of leaving, so the two of them continued their stiff, small talk. Recent weather. A restaurant opened by the head chef. Liz suffered inwardly. I've already finished my tea. When is she going to leave? Bayad suddenly seemed to realize something. Oh dear, it's already this late. I should be going now. Your Majesty, I wish the two of you a long and happy life together. There was a smile on Bayad's face as she looked at Liz. I wish the two of you a long and happy life together. Liz's expression stiffened. Lies. Bayad's smile grew colder and colder. Such a lie. No one would believe her with an expression like that. Did she know what kind of look she had on her face? Liz forced out a polite response. Thank you, and I wish you. Why did things have to turn out like this? I never wanted my relationship with Senior Bayad to become like this. After all, no one wants to make an enemy of the powerful Chadia family. But now, in the end, I had become her enemy. Marrying Senior, even at the cost of making an enemy. Liz lowered her eyes. What in the world was the future me thinking? She looked out at the Imperial Palace. It was different from the past. This place felt like a sheet of thin ice. Was it because I was in the palace? Or because I was the Empress? It seemed peaceful days would never come again. Liz's gaze turned resolute. Yes, so I have to return to my original time. The day before the banquet, another visitor arrived. Liz cried out, "Oh my goodness. Is that really you, Karna? You've changed so much. My cute Karna has become such a proper lady." Liz looked a little puzzled. It's been 5 years. Of course people change. Unlike Senior Bayad, Karna has always been my friend, so it feels strange. Karna sat down and asked gently, Liz, have you been well? Liz paused for a moment. MMO. Yes. Karna continued. Are the preparations for the banquet going smoothly? Since His Majesty is hosting it, it would be strange if they weren't. All Liz could do was laugh awkwardly. Haha. Karna smiled softly. Speaking of which, it's still funny when I think about it. You always used to say you hated him, but the moment you graduated, you married him. Liz forced a smile. I think it's funny too. That's why I was so shocked when I came to the future. The moment I graduated, I married Senior, and we became the Empire's famous loving couple. It's insane. It's like the two of us took some kind of strange drug. Karna laughed as she reminisced. Do you remember? You always used to complain that Senior was bothering you, and say that because he was the crown prince, you couldn't be too rude to him, so it frustrated you. But from my perspective, you were already rude enough. And yet you still ended up marrying that Senior. It's impressive, really. Liz Venedai. Liz protested softly. Hey, going from Fromon to Venedai still sounds strange to me. Karna casually asked. It seems Senior Bayad will be attending too. Liz replied, I saw her yesterday. Karna immediately asked, you saw her? What did she say? Liz forced out a smile. She congratulated us on our 3rd wedding anniversary. Karna shook her head. She continued, that lady really is troublesome. She's long past the age for engagement talks. So what exactly is she trying to do? Karna declared, her goal is the position of Empress. The whole Empire knows that you and His Majesty have a good relationship, and yet she still won't give up. She set down her teacup with a light clink. But judging by the two of you, there doesn't seem to be much to worry about. She glanced at the clock on the wall. I should be going. Liz looked surprised. So soon? Karna gave a light laugh. My husband is waiting for me. Liz echoed in shock. My husband? Karna looked at her with concern. Why are you acting so strangely today? Liz hurriedly waved her hands. Really? I'm just a little tired. Karna looked thoughtful. After that day, you suddenly changed. The atmosphere between the two of you and your relationship changed overnight. Liz froze. Karna stood up. All right, next time, let's bring our husbands and His Majesty too and meet together. We'll see each other again soon enough. See you then. Liz answered softly. Okay. The door shut gently. Alone, she thought it over. What does she mean? We'll see each other again soon. More importantly, I finally got to see Karna, but because everything was so awkward, she left so quickly. What a shame. Layla, on the other hand, seemed to be in a very good mood. Layla clasped her hands together, her face glowing with excitement. Of course I'm excited. Today is the banquet celebrating your 3rd wedding anniversary. Liz responded softly. Yes, time really flies. On the day of the banquet, the palace glittered under the sunlight. Liz stood alone on the 2nd floor. her expression grave. I told Senior I was confident, but can I really fool everyone? Luckily, my parents are traveling abroad and can't attend. That made me feel relieved. Yes, relieved, because I'm not confident I could fool them. Footsteps sounded behind her. Two maids bowed. Your Majesty, it is time to prepare and change your clothes. Liz's body stiffened. Is it already time? The maids gathered around her, arranging her silky golden hair. Your Majesty, your skin is fair and smooth. The makeup sits beautifully. The maids praised her nonstop. Your hair is like silk, and your eyelashes are so thick. Your Majesty, you are truly beautiful. In the whole empire, there is no woman more beautiful than you. Liz felt a little embarrassed. Such flattery was hard to bear. But looking at herself in the mirror, dressed in splendid clothes and wearing a crown, she really did look like an empress. Steady footsteps sounded outside the door. A maid announced, Your Majesty, His Majesty the Emperor has arrived. Liz took a deep breath. Let him in. Adrian, dressed in formal attire, slowly walked into the room. He stood at a distance, silently looking at her. The instant Adrian saw Liz, he suddenly found himself unable to look away. Adrian's face flushed slightly. He spoke, Clothes make the man, and fine clothes improve the person. Liz cast him a narrow glance. Was that a compliment? Adrian avoided her eyes. We're going to be late. Liz leaned closer, refusing to let it go. Was that a compliment? Was it? Were you saying I'm beautiful? Her hand wrapped around his arm. Adrian looked annoyed. Fine, if that satisfies you. Stop clinging to me. Liz's eyes lit up. I never expected you to compliment someone, Senior. Adrian was briefly speechless. He lowered his head. He tried hard to suppress the upward curve of his lips. Wow, so he has this side too. His reaction is way too obvious. Adrian cleared his throat. Let's go. Liz answered with a smile. Okay. They walked side by side toward the banquet balcony. The night breeze was cool. Liz shivered involuntarily. It's dark now. It's a little cold. A coat still holding warmth was gently draped over her shoulders. She froze. This is Senior's coat. Is he worried I'm cold? Adrian placed a hand on her shoulder. The two stood quietly watching the night sky. In the distance, the maids whispered among themselves. Look at them. What a loving couple. Liz instantly understood. So this is just an act. She pulled the coat tighter around herself. But thanks to him, I really wasn't cold. Liz let out a quiet breath. Phew. Adrian and Liz stopped before the banquet hall. We're here. Liz forced a stiff smile as cold sweat slid down her temple. I can do this, right? Adrian's voice rang out. Relax. There's no need to be so nervous. Liz looked up at him. Senior, how can you be so calm? Adrian said evenly, It's been 5 years. I'm still me. Liz froze. What? He looked away. I'm not a saint, and I'm not some sage. There's nothing to worry about. There may be a few differences, but fundamentally nothing has changed. I see. So that's why Senior is so composed. I had always treated my current self and my future self as if they were completely different people. The future felt too unfamiliar to me, like I was dealing with a stranger. Even after hearing Senior's words, the future still felt distant, and the situation before me still made me uneasy. But Senior could calmly assess things and find a solution, like a lamp lighting a road in the dark. I can never do what you do. I'm just a child lingering helplessly in the shadows of adults. That's who I am right now. So at this moment, I had no choice but to admit that I was still young, while Senior had already become an adult. The announcer's voice echoed through the hall. His Majesty the Emperor has arrived. Her Majesty the Empress has arrived. Adrian offered his arm, and Liz immediately took it, so imposing. Whispers spread through the banquet hall. As expected of His Majesty, Her Majesty the Empress is as beautiful as ever. The guests looked at them with admiration. What a match made in heaven. How can they suit each other so perfectly? Liz's cheeks grew warm. Do people really think we look that well matched? Senior has always been handsome. But Adrian carried himself with extraordinary dignity. Senior is definitely more dazzling than I am. The palace clock tower gleamed with light. The banquet officially began. Adrian faced the guests. Liz stood at his side as best she could. He raised his voice. Thank you all for coming to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of my marriage to the Empress. The guests smiled back. Adrian continued. I hope everyone enjoys themselves. Liz stared at his profile. This is a senior I don't know. A different voice. A different presence. He was perfectly playing the role of a dignified emperor. Liz quietly steeled herself. It's fine. Adrian turned to her, a slight smile curving his lips. He extended a hand. Shall we dance? So we absolutely must not get carried away. Liz let out a long breath. We got through it safely. Even if I made mistakes, Senior didn't show it at all. Thank goodness. Though the same couldn't be said for his feet. Still, I stepped on him much less than I did during practice. She glanced secretly at Adrian. He looked completely calm, like a born actor. Is it because he acts so often? I used to always wonder why Senior had to put on an act. Whenever I saw that false smile of his, I always felt I didn't want to get close to him. I couldn't trust someone who never treated others sincerely. Adrian's profile entered her field of vision. But now, perhaps my thoughts have changed. To have to keep disguising yourself all the time, even deceiving other people while acting, wouldn't that be exhausting for the person himself? Maybe Senior. Liz covered her mouth as a yawn came over her without warning. Why now of all times? The moment I relaxed, my body grew sleepy on its own. Adrian's voice rang out. The Empress and I will take our leave first. Please enjoy yourselves. He turned toward Liz. Let's go. Liz answered softly. Yes. Dawn-like light spread across the sky. It's beautiful. Adrian's voice came. The gardens of this palace are famous for their beauty. They walked side by side along a garden path. Liz stopped. May I ask you something? Adrian turned his head. What is it? She hesitated before speaking. Senior, why do you hide your emotions? Adrian's steps paused. He fell silent. Liz immediately regretted it. I shouldn't have asked. Adrian's voice was low. The moment you reveal your true feelings, they become a blade turned against you. Liz didn't understand. A blade? What does that mean? I'm curious, but I can't ask anymore, because Senior's eyes look a little lonely. Adrian kept walking, and Liz spoke again. We can go back to our original time, right? Adrian smiled faintly. Yes, you can go back. She looked up. Really? Then I'll believe you, Senior. Adrian didn't answer. He only said, let's do our best to return to the past. Liz answered softly. Okay. The banquet lasted 3 days. Normally, it would continue for a week, so this one was considered short. Except for the first day, neither Senior nor I attended. Senior said there was no need to, and if I wandered around and people recognized that something was wrong, it would be troublesome. So I stayed in my room the whole time. Layla came in. Your Majesty, haven't you been to the library recently? Liz looked puzzled. The library? Layla explained, yes. When you were bored, you always used to go there and read. But recently, it seems you haven't gone. Liz suddenly understood. Oh, right. Liz stood still. Did the future me visit the library often? Why? She headed toward the Grand Imperial Library. It housed every book on the continent. The poems of wandering bards, other people's autobiographies, ancient texts from lost eras. As an ordinary noble, I never would have had the right to enter. But now things were different. Liz Venedai was a member of the imperial family. At this moment, that royal identity was especially useful. Time is passing. I can't rely on Senior for everything. Liz made up her mind. Right, I need to find a way back too. She turned and hurried off. A glimmer flashed in Liz's eyes. Layla, get ready to go out. I'm going to the library for the first time in a while. A voice rang out in front of the library. We've been expecting you, Your Majesty. A guard stood by the entrance, looking toward Liz as she approached. You were away from your usual place for so long that I was worried. Liz answered softly. You're as beautiful as ever. Thank you for your kind words. The guard added that only His Majesty was allowed inside the restricted areas. Liz turned back. Is that so? Then, Layla, wait here for a moment. Liz stepped into the library. As expected of the Imperial Library, its scale is magnificent. A librarian bowed respectfully. Your Majesty, you've come. Liz recognized him. It's been a long time, Miss Pretzel. Pretzel gave a slight bow. What kind of books are you looking for today? Liz answered, I want books about legends or theology. Pretzel nodded. Certainly. He turned and led the way. Liz followed behind him, thinking to herself, these kinds of books might be useless, but maybe they can explain this strange phenomenon. There might even be a way to return to the past recorded in them. Pretzel gestured toward a row of shelves. Please come this way. Liz asked quietly, can these books be borrowed? Pretzel replied with a smile, of course. Any book below level 3 can be checked out. Liz let out a soft sigh. She looked up at the endless shelves. With this many books, how long would it take to finish them all? Layla is still waiting. I better just borrow some and take them back. Pretzel watched her leave. Your Majesty, have a safe trip. Liz forced out a smile. Thank you for your hard work. 2 days after the banquet, it was time for the second royal breakfast. Adrian set down his teacup. Your Majesty, I'd like to take Liz somewhere. The former emperor asked. Where to? Adrian answered, to Oral Village in the northern region. It's famous for its apples. The former emperor asked why. Adrian explained, Liz seems exhausted from the banquet. I want to take her somewhere to relax. Liz was startled inside. Wait a second. Since when did Senior start thinking like that? He's seriously using me as an excuse? The former emperor looked at Liz. Don't worry about work. Enjoy yourself to the fullest. Liz jumped to her feet excitedly. Father. The former emperor gave a thumbs up. Good. Liz clasped her hands together. Wow, I'm so excited. Thank you, Father. She let out a delighted little cry. When the two of them got to her room, Liz said angrily, "This is a scam." Adrian asked, "What do you mean?" He looked at her quietly. Liz stamped her foot. "I mean what you said about going there for my sake, to Oral, the village famous for apples." Adrian denied it. "That's not what I meant." Liz cut him off. "We don't have time to leisurely pick apples right now." Her expression turned serious. "More importantly, Senior, do you know someone named William Ganda?" Adrian's eyes sharpened. "That great mage?" Liz's thoughts returned to what she'd read. The great mage William Ganda, a being who had reached the realm beyond mortals. He had once rewritten the entire history of magic through his own power alone, then vanished like a legend. I read about him in the library archives. Only the highest-ranking magicians can use time-related return magic. He might be able to help us. But where are we supposed to find a legendary figure like that? Liz's expression darkened. Adrian said calmly, "But I know." Liz pressed him. "Really? No way. Have you met William Ganda?" Adrian answered calmly, "I met him before." Then he continued, "He saved my life." Liz froze in place. "What?" Her mind went completely blank. "My savior?" Adrian's voice turned low. "When he was still a young crown prince, something happened. He accompanied the Night Order on a monster subjugation. The former emperor had allowed him to join the hunting party on the condition that he never leave the knight's sight. But the knights couldn't bear to slaughter monsters in front of the prince, so he ended up seeing nothing at all. In the end, young Adrian secretly left the camp. Without realizing it, he wandered deep into the forest. When he came to his senses and tried to go back, he encountered a monster. It raised its sharp claws, and the young boy despaired. Am I going to die like this? The moment he closed his eyes, someone saved him. That person was the great mage William Ganda. A cloaked figure stood in front of him. Young Adrian looked up and asked, "Who are you?" The man said only one word: "Payment." "What?" Liz stared in disbelief. She pressed him incredulously. "Since then? You're kidding, right?" Adrian looked at her calmly. "No, it's true. William Ganda demanded payment from me. That's how I obtained his address, so I could repay him later. At the time, I didn't know he was William Ganda. I only found out afterward. I've never told anyone, so he should still be living there. Not long ago, I also found letters exchanged between William Ganda and my future self. Then we definitely can't afford to relax and pick apples. We have to go immediately." Adrian soothed her. "Calm down. His residence is near Oral, so we can visit while we're there." Liz suddenly understood. So Senior had thought of that too. That's why he suggested Oral. She let out a relieved breath. Phew, thank goodness. It would have been far too hard to find William Ganda on my own. Adrian's presence was such a reassuring alliance. Oral Village, a village at the northern edge of the Planta region. It was nearly cut off from the world and quietly produced apples. From the capital to Oral, the carriage ride took quite a long time. Going by horse would have been faster, but to preserve royal dignity, we chose a carriage. Fortunately, everything had been prepared well, and the departure went smoothly. Layla waved outside the palace. "Your Majesty, I wish you and His Majesty a pleasant journey." Liz turned back to say goodbye. "Thank you, Layla. I'll come back." She boarded the carriage, ready to enjoy the trip. However, the moment we arrived, Senior started working. No matter how comfortable the journey was, wasn't he a little too addicted to work? The carriage rattled along a forest path, and so the journey to find William Ganda began. Night fell. The carriage stopped. A guard reined in the horses. "Your Majesties will have to camp tonight." Adrian said, "Understood." Liz thought, "Camping? This is my first time. We'll be okay." Adrian noticed her hesitation. "What? Are you worried?" Liz immediately denied it. "Worried? Of course not. I'm completely fine." Adrian couldn't help laughing. Liz looked at him disdainfully. Laugh all you want. Go ahead and laugh." As Liz was about to get off the carriage, Adrian held out his hand. She blinked. "What are you doing?" Adrian turned his face slightly. "Take my hand." He added in a low voice, "It's an act." Adrian's eyes swept the surroundings. Everyone's watching. Liz suddenly understood. "Oh." She put on a gentle smile and placed her hand in his. "Thank you, Your Majesty." Adrian steadied her. "Naturally, I can't have you getting hurt." In the distance, people whispered, "Look at them. They're always so affectionate. They must be doing it on purpose." Still, Liz really does look natural beside him. A servant approached to report, "Your Majesty's dinner is ready." Liz's eyes lit up. The first meal at the campsite? Wow. It's much more lavish than I imagined. Nothing like the book said. I guess it's because this was prepared only for Senior and me. After all, we're the Emperor and Empress. A knight pointed to a splendid tent. "Your Majesty and Her Majesty will be sleeping here." Liz froze. "Oh, thank you. We're sleeping together." Her smile stiffened. "Wait." Adrian looked at her. "HM, is there a problem?" Liz smiled awkwardly. "All right, of course we should share a tent. At the palace we sleep in separate rooms, so I almost forgot." Hugging a pillow, she retreated to the edge of the bed. "Senior, just in case, don't come over to my side." Adrian looked at her. I'd rather cut off my hand than touch you. Liz gave a small snort. Fine, then I'll see whether you really mean that. The inside of the tent was wider than she'd expected. At least they wouldn't bump into each other. But this was still a forest. What if a wild beast showed up in the night? The image of a roaring brown bear flashed in her mind. Liz shuddered all over. She turned to Adrian. Senior, if a bear shows up, don't leave me behind. Adrian looked at her in silence. Liz muttered softly, I feel like. You really would do that. Adrian turned away expressionlessly. Stop imagining things. Go to sleep. In the end, her worries on the first night were unnecessary. The journey was so smooth, it was almost dull. They didn't even see a single small animal. The trip gradually turned into a genuinely healing journey. The only unexpected challenge was living together with Senior. But she quickly realized those worries had also been unnecessary. Senior didn't even touch me. He slept in a corner to avoid any contact. When we passed through larger villages, we occasionally stayed at inns. Then we could sleep in separate rooms. Maybe that was Senior's way of being considerate. But more than that, what worries me now is how this is supposed to be an official vacation. And yet Senior works nonstop every day. Does he really have that much work? Adrian looked up. Why are you staring at me? Liz quickly explained, oh no, I was just thinking that your majesty really has a lot of work. Adrian replied coldly, you only realize that now? Liz said yes, so please try to relax a little. Just watching you is making my head spin. Adrian gave no reaction. He couldn't even be bothered to pretend he was listening. Sitting in the carriage, Liz thought, tomorrow we'll finally reach Oral. What kind of person will William Ganda be? A legendary figure who surpassed human limits. Some even say he's a descendant of a god, or a dragon in disguise, or maybe a half-blood. People said all sorts of things about his identity. Liz's thoughts wandered. He's lived that long, so he must be a white-haired old grandfather. Resting her chin in her hand, she imagined a kindly old man. Adrian's voice broke her fantasy. What are you thinking about? Liz came back to herself. Senior, the William Ganda you met. He was an old man, right? Adrian answered calmly about that. Suddenly, a sharp cry sounded from outside the carriage. Though their numbers weren't many, screams rose one after another. Adrian shot to his feet. What happened? A knight rushed to the window. Your Majesty, it's a group of beastmen. Liz's face turned pale. What? A group? Are they really those monsters? Beastmen? Beastmen, the first kind of monster taught at the academy. The most common type, usually living in groups deep in forests. To me, they had only existed in books. I never thought I'd actually see one with my own eyes in this lifetime. Liz watched Adrian stand up. Senior, are you going out? Adrian gripped the hilt of his sword. Stay here. Don't move. Liz's eyes were full of worry. Please be careful. Adrian gave a faint, easy smile. They're only beastmen. Only beastmen. He wasn't afraid at all. What I really wanted to say was, don't go. Because it's dangerous. Because I'm scared. I wanted him to stay by my side. Liz curled up in the corner of the carriage, trembling all over. How can he say that so lightly? The only thing I can do is stay here quietly. It's okay. It'll be fine. She repeated it to herself again and again. Then came a loud crash. A beastman tore through the carriage door and appeared right before her. Liz's pupils shrank. Fear closed around her throat. Am I going to die? Liz was overwhelmed with terror. Is my final fate really to become a beastman's meal? She desperately tried to run, but her body froze in place and wouldn't move. The beastman was already inside. Liz shut her eyes in despair. No! A flash of violet light streaked past. A blade cut through the air. The beastman's head flew off. Liz slowly opened her eyes. What? A cold blade had passed before her. A sharp gust swept by her ear. Her vision had been split by a line of light. She instinctively looked up for its source. Adrian stood before her, looking down at her. Empress! Adrian knocked her lightly on the head. Liz cried out in pain. Clutching her head, she sat on the carriage seat. What was that for? Adrian said coldly, pull yourself together. With the look on your face, people will think I'm the beast man. He asked, why are you so down? Liz muttered, I was so scared. Adrian said nothing, only looked at her quietly. Liz's eyes grew wet. Why didn't you come sooner? I was so scared. Liz collapsed back against the carriage seat. I really thought I was going to die. A hand reached out and rested gently on her head. Adrian's voice sounded. Yes, I'm here. Liz suddenly looked up. Her eyes were full of surprise. Adrian gazed at her. His expression softened. You were very afraid. That's a normal reaction. He withdrew his hand and bent down to check whether she was hurt. Liz shook her head. Why did the beastmen suddenly appear? Adrian looked grim. There seems to be a beastman nest nearby. When we return to the palace, we must send an expeditionary force. Liz nodded. And, she said quietly, thank you. Adrian frowned. For what? Liz blushed a little. Asking me so directly is embarrassing. Adrian said, even if you're the Empress, protecting you is only natural. If word spread that the Emperor couldn't even protect his own Empress, wouldn't that be a joke? Liz sighed inwardly. After I thanked him, that's what he says? What more can I expect from you? She shook her head. Forget it. Can this trip really end safely? Adrian's gaze swept over the forest. Fortunately, no major damage had been done. The horses had panicked from the Beastman attack, but if nothing else was wrong, they could continue on. The next day, after another hour had passed, the carriage stopped in front of a grand iron gate. So this is William Ganda's estate. Liz gasped. It's beautiful, just like something out of fairy tale. But there isn't anyone here. How are we supposed to get in? Adrian walked toward the gate, and Liz followed, right behind him. The iron gate opened on its own. Magic. They went in side by side. The gate slowly closed behind them. Adrian turned toward the estate. I'll go in first. You wait outside. Liz stared. What? Why? Why do you have to go in first? Adrian explained, William Ganda does not meet humans without permission. If I bring you with me, I won't get to see him either. Liz looked dejected. No way. She looked up at the imposing building. Then at least give me an autograph, if possible. Please. Footsteps approached. Liz blinked. Footsteps? She suddenly turned around. Who's there? Is someone else here? A voice spoke. Hello. A blue-haired young man appeared behind her. He wore a faint smile. Everything around was silent. The gate was closed. Adrian thought, is no one here? No. If the gate opened, that means the owner allowed us in. Adrian knocked on the door. A voice came from inside. Do you want to come in and play? Adrian entered the room. I knew you were inside. The voice inside said, then come in. Adrian thought, so it really was a joke. The door slammed shut behind him. Adrian stepped inside. William Ganda was standing by the window. His long hair fell loose over his shoulders, and his figure was tall and straight. William slowly turned, his gaze settling on Adrian. Long time no see, little one. Adrian looked at him. I came to ask for your help. Unlike the image the world knew, he looked like a young man. Same as ever, Adrian thought to himself. William lifted a hot drink. Cocoa. Children should drink cocoa. Adrian remained expressionless. I'm already 24. William laughed softly. So then, little one. Adrian's thoughts were cut off. His personality hasn't changed at all. Adrian spoke. I came to ask you something. William folded his arms. What is it? Adrian asked. You don't seem interested in what I'm saying. You've been looking out the window the whole time. Adrian's gaze moved through the window. What are you looking at? He saw Liz, and a man he didn't recognize. In this estate, without servants, there was someone other than William. Adrian demanded, didn't you say you let no one in except guests? Who is that man? William said, that's my son. Adrian looked at him. How old is he? William answered, the same age as you. 24. Adrian's pupils shrank. 24? Adrian was completely baffled. William Ganda's known age to the public was at least in the triple digits. So how many years apart were he and his son? In a way, that alone made him legendary. But no matter how he looked at him, he didn't seem like William Ganda's son. Adrian thought he must take after his mother. William replied softly, perhaps. Adrian pressed him. Perhaps? What do you mean by that? We aren't related by blood. Liz's eyes widened at that. This was a strawberry cake. So exquisitely made, it was unbelievable. No, Liz, you must not accept it so easily. Not until you know what's in it. As the Empress, get a hold of yourself. Liz clenched her fists and shut her eyes tight. No, I said no. I'm not hungry right now. The blue-haired young man smiled gently. Ah, I didn't put anything strange in it. Liz felt a little awkward. Oh, was it written all over my face? It's not that I meant to be suspicious, but this is William Ganda's estate after all. It's hard to imagine there being dangerous people here. Then maybe I could try a little. She cut off a small piece of cake and put it in her mouth. It's delicious. Liz happily narrowed her eyes, completely absorbed in the taste. She finished the whole slice. Right? Who exactly is he? Anyone who can make cake this good has to be a good person. The blue-haired young man smiled faintly. Ah, right. I haven't introduced myself yet. I am Rude Ganda. It's a pleasure to meet you. Liz froze. Rude? What Rude Ganda? Is that Ganda the same Ganda as William Ganda? Rude calmly confirmed, yes. William Ganda is my father. Liz's heart surged. Meeting his son rather than William Ganda himself was so strange. With a slight smile, she asked carefully, may I ask how old you are? Rude answered calmly, I'm 24. Liz felt like she'd been struck by lightning. The same age as Adrian. When exactly did that great mage have a child? Liz marveled inwardly. Legendary figures really are different. Rude smiled and explained, ah, I'm adopted. Liz laughed awkwardly. Ahaha, I see. Was my expression giving me away again? Rude added, yes. I was adopted when I was 19. Then he changed the subject. What brings you here, Your Majesty? Your Majesty? Liz explained, Senior, No, His Majesty has some business here. Liz was startled inside. Come to think of it, I don't think I've told him I'm the Empress. No, before that. Liz asked, have we met somewhere before? The moment she said it, she regretted it. Why would I say something like that? Look, even Rude looks awkward now. But for some reason, his gaze feels familiar. Like the sound of a music box heard at the bedside before sleep. Haha, just kidding. By the way, why hasn't His Majesty come out yet? Your Majesty, did you graduate from Myrdal Academy? Liz answered yes. How did you know? Rude explained, I graduated from that academy as well. Then, Mr. Rude, do you know His Majesty too? Rude answered yes, but he was someone very hard to approach. But was Senior really like that? Other than with me, he's kind to everyone. By the way, why hasn't His Majesty come yet? William asked. So then, what is it you're curious about? Adrian asked, have you ever heard of someone entering their future body or stories about crossing through time? William's eyes sharpened. I don't know. And even if I did, I wouldn't want to interfere. Magic related to time belongs to the domain of the gods. It is not something to be touched lightly. Its success rate is extremely low, and even if it succeeds, the arrogant pay the price they deserve. In any case, this isn't the sort of thing a sane person would do. Adrian fell silent. But if not you, who else could I ask? William said, if you truly want to know, go ask my son. Adrian asked, your son? William nodded. Yes, he may not look it, but he's my successor. Since I've already retired, I had no intention of telling you. Adrian nodded. Understood. Then I'll take my leave. William muttered to himself, what a foolish child. Looking down at Rude below, William asked, what is it that's making you smile so happily? I stared at the curve of his lips, trying to figure out the reason behind that smile. My curiosity shone on it like a spotlight. What surprised me most while he and Rude were talking was how well he got along with him. They kept making each other laugh. It was less like polite conversation and more like they were reminiscing over things they both found amusing. Even their small gestures matched strangely well. They seemed to like the same things and dislike the same things. Liz asked Rude, are you also bad at dancing? Rude nodded. Yes, I am. Adrian interrupted them. Let's go. Liz blinked. HM, you're done already? Adrian asked, are you disappointed? Liz hurriedly denied it. I never said I was disappointed. Adrian asked, are you Rude Ganda? Rude bowed in response. Greetings, Your Majesty. Liz asked, Senior, do you know Rude? Liz looked at Adrian, but Senior's expression doesn't look very good. HM, did something happen inside? Adrian's expression hardened. He said you should take him with you as William Ganda's successor. If you take him away, not only the Plana Empire, but even the Kachia Empire would be thrown into chaos. Imagine the news spreading that William Ganda's successor is in an enemy nation. Let's go back. Liz called out, let's go together. Adrian mocked, it's because your legs are short. Liz replied, you say that, but in the end you'll slow down for me anyway. You're really not honest. Liz looked at Rude. What about you? Rude answered, I'll follow later. Liz frowned. Why not come now? Rude explained, I need to go say goodbye to my father, and I still have a few things to sort out. Liz asked, how long do you think you'll need? I'll send a carriage from the palace. What Liz was thinking instead was, wow, they're really treating the successor well. He truly is rare talent. Rude said, that's all right. I'll come in about a week. Adrian looked at him. I'll wait for you. Rude nodded. Understood. Then Adrian casually asked, by the way, have we met somewhere before? Adrian suddenly repeated, by the way, have we met somewhere before? Liz straightened in surprise. Senior thinks so too? Liz explained, Rude also graduated from Myrdal Academy. He's one of our seniors from there too. Adrian looked at Rude. Is that so? Liz turned and waved. Rude, see you at the palace later. Don't be late. Senior too. The two got into the carriage. Adrian said, he said he couldn't help either. Liz looked dejected. It seems we'll have to start investigating from scratch. Wait. She suddenly turned toward Adrian, her questioning voice turning sharp. Why are your hands empty? What about the autograph? Adrian replied expressionlessly. I'll give you mine. Liz shouted in exasperation. I don't need your autograph. And just like that, Senior, we returned to the palace empty-handed. Inside the grand library, sunlight poured in through the high windows. Pretzel pushed a cart of books past her. Your Majesty, you read very quickly. We've already started organizing the new books that arrived this time. How was the book you selected? Liz's smile held a trace of fatigue. It was all right, but it wasn't what I was looking for. Pretzel offered a sincere wish. I hope you find the information you need soon. Liz replied warmly. Thank you. I hope so too. Pretzel said, then I'll shelve this book for you. Liz quickly shook her head to stop him. No need. I already remember where it goes. I'll do it myself. Pretzel asked uncertainly. Are you sure? Liz showed an awkward smile. Of course. Pretzel reminded her, you may borrow at most 5 books per day. Liz thought to herself, I have to choose carefully. Carrying several books, she went over to Pretzel. I'll borrow these then. I'll be sure to return them, so don't worry. Pretzel smiled. I'm not worried. It will be fine even if you return them later. Then, Your Majesty, please enjoy your reading. Liz replied warmly, "Thank you." She placed the books in the designated spot. "All right, I'll leave them here." The amount of work buried in these piles of books is enormous. I hope I can find a clue this time. "Thank you." She picked up the teacup. "The tea Layla makes really is the best. Hot tea is the most comforting thing." Layla handed Liz a letter. "Your Majesty, there's a letter for you." Liz blinked. "For me?" Her eyes fell on the envelope. "A familiar seal." This was the crest of House Anglirid. Liz suddenly came back to herself. "All right, I'd forgotten for a moment. House Chadia controls the Empire's financial power. House Anglirid controls the Empire's military power, and the Imperial family. Those three powers together support this vast empire." Three banners stood side by side beneath the throne. Along the walls of the Imperial capital, three bands of light were reflected. Liz recalled that senior who had gotten close to me must absolutely be the youngest son of House Anglirid. But back when we were at the academy, that senior never once spoke to me. Still, now that we've started corresponding, I guess Senior Darian and I did have at least some connection. "To my beloved Empress and my dear friend, Liz." Liz looked confused. "HM, the Duchess of Anglirid is my friend?" The letter read, "It's me, Karna." Liz whispered in surprise. "K. Karna?" Layla confirmed, "Yes. It's a letter from Duchess Karna." Liz repeated in disbelief, "Duchess Karna?" The letter said, "Then I'll see you at the next couple's tea party. I'm looking forward to it." Liz was filled with confusion. Looking forward to what? And a couple's tea party? No less. Liz and Adrian sat facing each other. Liz asked, "Senior, did you get a letter yesterday too?" Adrian answered, "Yes." "What exactly do people do at a couple's tea party?" Adrian shook his head. "I don't know. I've never been to one." Liz said awkwardly, "I've never been either." Both of them felt deeply awkward. This is so awkward. What do we do? The conversation won't move forward at all. Right, Karna and Senior Darian got married. I heard that as soon as Senior Darian returned from his campaign, he left the Night Order and got married. Now, he's managing his own territory. Liz found it genuinely surprising. I don't remember those two having much contact. Was someone matchmaking them? Or were they secretly dating behind my back? Adrian asked, "What are you thinking about?" Liz asked, "Senior, do you know anything?" Adrian's gaze sharpened. "I don't know either." Liz felt puzzled. Did they keep it secret from Senior too? They seem to get along well enough. Liz rallied herself and said, "Anyway, this time we need to properly act like a couple, right?" The corner of Adrian's mouth curved slightly. Liz said, "In that case, I'll definitely perform perfectly." Fighting spirit rose within her. "I have to crush their arrogance." Liz heard Adrian let out a low chuckle. She asked in disbelief, "Did you just laugh?" On the day of the couple's tea party, Adrian looked at Liz and praised her. "Not bad." Liz pouted. "You could be more honest and say, 'You really look beautiful.'" Adrian stayed silent. Liz huffed. "Why don't you say anything?" Then she sighed. "I was just joking." She felt a little disappointed inside. "I wasn't expecting Senior to say anything anyway." Then Adrian abruptly said, "You look beautiful." Liz froze and looked up at him. "What did you just say?" Adrian held out his hand. "Let's go. We have to act like a loving couple." Adrian held out his hand and said lightly, "Let's go. We have to act like lovers." Liz blinked. "Huh?" A question rose in her mind. "Are you messing with me?" She placed her hand on Adrian's. "All right, then let's go." A trace of disappointment rose in Liz's heart. "Huh, I almost believed him." In the garden behind the detached palace, the two walked hand in hand. Adrian asked, "Are you nervous?" Liz sighed. "If I said I wasn't, that would be a lie." Liz took a deep breath. Her palms were slightly damp with sweat. Then she smiled brightly. "But it's okay. Because of your joke just now, I actually relaxed a little." Adrian praised her. "Your smile is beautiful." Liz's smile froze. "Are you still trying to tease me?" Then an announcement rang out that the Emperor and Empress had arrived. Karna came forward with a bright smile. "Welcome. We've been waiting for you." Liz thought to herself. Seeing Karna speak this formally in public feels strangely uncomfortable. Darian spoke with a smile. "It's been a long time, Your Majesty." Adrian came back to himself and said, "Darian." Darian placed a hand over his chest. "I'm glad to see you're in good health." Karna clapped her hands. "Now, then, since everyone is here, shall we officially begin the tea party?" Darian praised, "Her Majesty the Empress looks especially beautiful today." Liz replied with a smile, "Thank you. Your wife is elegant as well." Karna laughed softly. "Oh, you really know how to talk." The atmosphere fell silent again. Adrian broke the deadlock. "By the way, how have you two been lately?" Darian answered, "I've been inspecting my lands and pushing forward export business for our local specialties." Adrian said courteously, "I'm glad to see you're doing well." Darian asked, "How have things been for you lately, Your Majesty?" Adrian replied, "Thanks to the Empress, I've been doing well too." Liz screamed inwardly, "Stop saying those useless things." Liz looked at Adrian, growing increasingly uneasy inside. Something feels off. Are you still holding a grudge because I kept things from you? Senior is so petty. Karna picked up a cookie. Darian, try this. Karna held the cookie up to Darian's mouth. Darian obediently opened his mouth, ready to eat it. Karna murmured fondly, so cute. Liz stared in horror. Her mind was reeling. I think I just saw something I wasn't supposed to see. Karna coaxed sweetly. Darian, will you give me some too? Liz was breaking down inside. Karna, ever since a while ago, this isn't a Karna I know. Liz felt horrified. Does future me have to watch this every year? Liz asked, that person is Senior's friend, right? Adrian answered expressionlessly. On the surface, yes. Karna cooed, oh my, you got something on your lips. How careless. Karna had only one thought in her mind. Too cute. She gently wiped Darian's cheek with her finger. Adrian was getting goosebumps all over. In a small voice, he asked Liz, that person is your friend, right? Liz went stiff and whispered back, for now, yes. Karna asked with concern, Liz, is something wrong? Liz waved her hands in panic. What? No, I'm fine. Completely fine. Karna said apologetically, is that so? Then forgive me if I'm meddling. But the two of you are usually so affectionate, and today you're both so quiet. Liz whispered to Adrian beside her. Senior, didn't I tell you before? Adrian answered impatiently. Tell me what? Stay a little closer to me. Liz whispered. People are starting to get suspicious of us. Adrian asked, so, should we show off our affection? Liz whispered back. That's better than weird rumor spreading. Adrian was full of resistance inside. Liz looked at his reluctant expression. This man, can't you manage your face a little? Do you think I'm doing this because I like it? Liz encouraged herself inwardly. All right, from now on, I'm neither an academy student nor the Empress. I'm Senior's adorable wife. Cute and charming. Acting mode on. With a bright smile plastered over her face, Liz spoke in the tone of someone deeply in love. Your Majesty, Adrian was covered in goosebumps. What is this? Imitating Karna, Liz picked up a cookie. Adrian stayed silent. Liz smiled widely. Here, open wide. Adrian sighed. What are you doing? But to keep the act going, he still ate the cookie Liz held out. Liz looked at him expectantly. Is it good? The cookie, I fed you with my own hand. Karna smiled as she watched them. Oh my, looks like I was overthinking it. Keeping up her fake smile, Liz whispered, Senior, relax your expression. Adrian asked quietly, are you finished? Liz hesitated. Maybe? Adrian replied, then it's my turn. Liz jumped. Wait, what do you mean, your turn? Adrian picked up a cookie. The cookies are very good. Liz was full of question marks. Adrian imitated Liz. I have a taste. Liz nearly broke into a cold sweat. She had only one thought in her mind. Please don't shove that into my mouth. But on the surface, she still had to keep acting, so she had no choice but to eat the cookie. Putting all his acting into it, Adrian praised her. The way you eat is so cute, and somehow yours looked even tastier. You almost bit my fingers off. Adrian gave a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Haha, just joking. Liz thought, oh no, that definitely wasn't a joke. Adrian's expression darkened just slightly. It was a joke. The people around them looked on enviously. What a loving couple. Wishing you both harmony and happiness. Liz said, His Majesty takes such good care of me. I truly don't know what to do. I bet he's thirsty after eating cookies. Karna happily said, seeing the two of you makes me think the two of us need to improve as well. Liz immediately rejected that inside. No, Karna, you're already more than enough as you are. Then she noticed Darian looking at her. Karna turned toward him. She reached out and wiped his face. Oh my, Darian, you got something here too. The Empire's blade. A warrior who was cold-blooded and merciless on the battlefield. And yet the man known as Senior Darian now was like a completely different person. How much must he love Karna to show such a sweet side of himself? Liz thought, watching this for too long feels a little strange. Her gaze shifted to Adrian. There was a cookie crumb at the corner of Senior's mouth, too. Liz's gaze froze on that tiny crumb by his lips. Adrian noticed her staring. What are you looking at? Liz snapped out of it. The cookie. Adrian frowned. What? Liz reminded him quietly. There's a cookie crumb by your mouth. Adrian lifted his hand. He fumbled around his lips with his fingertips. Liz watched anxiously. You're touching the wrong place. She sighed softly. I have no choice. She suddenly leaned forward and extended her finger. Adrian's body stiffened. What? Liz ordered in a quiet voice. Don't move. You're worse than child. She leaned close to his face and gently brushed the crumb from the corner of his mouth with her fingertip. Adrian's face turned cold. What are you doing? So annoying. Liz bristled with irritation. Being gentle with a person like this is useless. Before they knew it, the sun had set. Karna said, I had a wonderful time today. Seeing that the two of you are still the same puts me at ease. Adrian asked, are you going back to your estate? Darian answered, I have another banquet to attend, so we'll be staying at Viscount Cecilia's residence. Liz's thoughts stirred. Cecilia, that's Karna's castle, near the Imperial Palace. But another banquet? There's yet another one? Darian's voice turned low. Duke Chidia's movements are suspicious. Adrian said, we're keeping watch, but I still have a bad feeling. Darian replied, we'll continue observing. Adrian answered quietly, good. The setting sun dyed the distant castle red. Adrian asked, you've been acting strange for a while now. Is there something you want to say? Liz said, Senior. Adrian asked calmly, what is it? Liz set a condition. Promise me you won't get angry first. Adrian became wary. Angry? What are you trying to say now? Liz's voice carried a pleading tone. Please. Adrian promised expressionlessly. I won't. Liz asked carefully, do you feel lonely? Adrian's gaze instantly turned icy. What nonsense are you talking about? Liz hurriedly shook her head. No, it's just what I think. Ever since you parted from Senior Darian, your expression has looked lonely, sad, and pitiable. Adrian lowered his eyes, his profile falling into shadow. Les instants réalised, am I sticking my nose where it doesn't belong? Liz forced a smile. Senior, Adrian spoke. Because he used to be my only one. Senior, your expression. His words cut off there. Adrian's face darkened. An indescribable sadness enveloped him, as if an old wound had been ripped open. Liz asked in confusion, used to be your only one? Adrian answered firmly, yes. Liz pressed, what do you mean? Adrian said softly that, I envied you. Liz asked, what do you mean? You're the crown prince, loved and trusted by the people, and even your appearance is outstanding. Of course, I also come from a distinguished noble house. But even so, I could never compare to you. So you envied me for that? Why? Adrian asked in return. Can you tell friend from foe? Liz frowned. What? Have you ever been so suspicious that you couldn't accept someone's kindness sincerely? Have you ever thought that food given to you might be poisoned? Or that the person smiling at you might stab you in the back? Adrian laughed softly. Things like that. Have you ever suffered because of them? Liz stayed silent. Darian was the only person I could trust. In this place, full of schemes and deception, he was the only friend I could truly rely on. Adrian's voice was low and firm. Yes, a friend. Someone I could trust. Liz asked softly, are you talking about what happened last time? Adrian answered, yes. That's exactly what I mean. The moment you reveal your true feelings, he becomes the blade turned against you. A man from 5 years in the future who overcame unknown trials, built a family, and now protects someone other than me. It doesn't feel good. Adrian said that, maybe it's hard to understand. You might think this is just childish sulking. Liz said, Senior, you regret saying all this now, don't you? To be honest, you're right. Senior, I don't completely understand the situation you're talking about. Maybe up until now I've just lived too naively. Even now, as the Empress, it's not easy to suspect others at every moment. It will probably be hard in the future too. Up until now, I always found your fake smile unpleasant. I was only annoyed by your hostility. I never once thought about trying to understand why you had to wear that kind of smile. It was your shield. But Liz clenched her fists. Senior, this might hurt your pride, so I may regret saying it. But if I don't, this scene will keep lingering in my mind. In the future, you and I are comrades and allies, right? Because of what we've gone through together, we share the feeling of having stood through life and death side by side. And we also share the same goal, returning to our original time. Adrian looked puzzled. What are you talking about? Liz knew that, so what I want to say is this. I may not compare to Senior Darian, but here, we can't betray each other. At least here, can't you trust me? Adrian looked at her in shock. Liz lowered her eyes. After saying all that, Senior probably hates me now. Adrian suddenly burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. Liz was speechless. Yeah, laugh all you want. I'll never say another nice thing to that person again. Adrian finally recovered and said, ha ha. Thank you. Liz looked shocked. What? She asked. Were you comparing it to roasted sweet potatoes? Were you trying to comfort me? Adrian truly couldn't keep up with her train of thought. He asked the question straight from his soul. Are you making fun of me? Liz spoke up. I'm serious right now, but I feel like I'm dreaming. Do you think a demon disguised itself as me to deceive you? Like some hallucination you see before you die? Adrian denied it. It's not a dream. It's not a demon. And it's definitely not a dying hallucination. So pull yourself together. Liz panicked. Thank you, Senior. Your personality disorder. Adrian's expression went blank. Should I make you take that back? Then he continued. Also, Liz froze in place. What? Adrian slowly spoke. I don't dislike you. Liz jolted and stared at Adrian. What? Adrian explained. Because I didn't like you before. Liz reflexively shot back. Stop lying. Then why? Her mind went blank. What exactly did that mean? He didn't like her, but he didn't dislike her either? She gave up trying to think it through. Forget it. There was no point asking further. Liz broke into a bright smile. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Even if you're a little annoying, Senior, I promise I won't stab you in the back. Adrian's laughter echoed out. You? Stab me in the back? You? Liz's smile stiffened on her face. Adrian suddenly burst into loud laughter, shaking all over as he laughed. Liz silently watched him. Holding back his laughter, Adrian said, Well, that is reassuring. Your expression already gave everything away, and you still say you won't stab me in the back. Liz narrowed her eyes. Do you really want me to hit you in the back? Adrian asked. Didn't you say you wouldn't? Liz waved her hand with a grin. Haha, I take that back. Adrian straightened up, his tone firm. That won't do. You're the only assistant in the palace I can trust. Liz smiled brightly. All right, assistant it is. Senior, I look forward to working with you from now on. He hurriedly waved his hands. No. Then he corrected himself. Let's work well together from now on. Liz's smile turned a little awkward. Right, that's what I meant. Liz's hand clasped Adrian's tightly. She thought to herself, I've come to see Senior in a new light. A man wearing a mask, lonely inside, yet longing for trust. And he looks nice when he smiles. The former emperor laughed happily. Children, please take good care of each other this year too. Liz jerked. What? Sitting across from Adrian, Liz asked, Senior, what are you expecting? Adrian lifted his teacup. I don't know. Liz grew suspicious. You don't know either, Senior? Then why are you acting so indifferent? Just then Layla softly said, if it's that, it's probably about His Majesty's birthday banquet. Liz's eyes widened. What? He had prepared for it so carefully. Layla rested her chin on her hand and said dreamily, I still remember it. Your Majesty personally selected every little decoration. You looked so happy then. You really were a perfect match. Liz's hand holding the teacup trembled. Liz was aghast. What? I'm the one hosting it? What? I've never even thrown my own birthday party. Wait, then why did Senior Adrian pretend not to know just now? Does he really not know? Or does he know and is deliberately hiding it from me? An uneasy feeling settled in her heart. But as if my anxiety didn't matter at all, the next day, documents came flooding in like a tidal wave. How someone saved me? This too, Liz groaned. I'm clearly already handling paperwork, so why does it keep increasing? And why does future me even manage such trivial matters? Can't they just decide how many candles to buy themselves? If the Empress were personally organizing the birthday banquet, that would be understandable. But why be so meticulous about these unnecessary details? No wonder people said we were perfectly in sync, like a loving couple. Adrian supervised from the side. Work properly. Before he could say more, all Adrian saw was Liz, utterly exhausted. I must have come to the wrong room. Liz spoke weakly. If you're looking for an empress who's about to die from overwork, you came to the right place. Adrian thought, her condition is serious. How'd I end up like this? Yeah, what could Senior possibly have done wrong? This is all future me's fault. Adrian scratched his head. Is it really that hard? Liz shot back. Can't you tell? Adrian looked at her. Relax. That expression looks awful. Liz thought Adrian was teasing her. If you're bored, go entertain yourself somewhere else. I'm Buse. Adrian flipped through the documents. You're nowhere near done yet. Liz said, Exactly, Senior. As you can see, I still have a lot of work left, right? So please don't disturb me. Go play somewhere else. Adrian asked, Do you need help? Liz's eyes lit up. Really? Then Liz suddenly came to her senses and changed her words. No, I'll do it myself. Adrian looked puzzled. Why? Liz grew a little annoyed. Why are you asking something so obvious? Adrian was baffled. Obvious, Liz complained inwardly. He keeps pretending not to know. Adrian asked, And what is it this time? Liz sighed. You really won't let me off the hook. No matter what, how can I let the main character help with organizing his own birthday party? I do have a conscience, okay? Adrian continued. It's fine. Liz argued. This is important to me. I'm not that heartless. Senior, you just need to quietly accept everyone's blessings. Adrian frowned. Blessings? What meaning do they have? Liz had drifted off for a moment. What did you just say? Then she continued. Anyway, Senior, if you're done, go back to your room and rest. If you get sick, I'll have even more work. Adrian gave in. All right. As Adrian walked out, he said, Oh, right. I heard Rude arrived a few days ago. Liz sprang to her feet. Rude is here? Why are you only telling me now? Adrian turned back. There was no time to tell you. And no reason to. Liz asked in confusion. Why no reason? Adrian countered. Was there a reason? Liz said seriously. Of course there was. Rude and I are friends, even if we never formally confirmed it. Adrian gave her a cool look. Friends, how impressive. That's not something an assistant can compete with. Liz frowned. What? What do you mean by that? Senior, I thought we'd grown a little closer. Why is he reacting like this? Ugh, I was already in a bad mood, and now it's even worse. But I have to do this. What else can I do? Besides, this is still Senior's birthday in the future, the one who accepted me. I don't want to just let it pass by. Under the night sky, the mansion's pointed rooftops rose sharply. Only 1 week remained until the birthday banquet. Layla stood beside Liz. Your Majesty, would you like to go for a walk? Get some fresh air. I'm worried about your health. Liz thought, she's right. Just like Layla said, I should really get some proper rest. She said aloud, I'll go rest now. Could you prepare a cup of hot cocoa? Layla asked. Would you like someone to accompany you? Liz waved her hand. No, I'll just walk around up ahead. Layla smiled. Then I'll wait here for you. Liz stepped out alone. When I rest, I prefer quiet. It feels more comfortable without maids following me around. I feel a little bad about it, though. A breeze brushed past. Coming out for some air really is nice. So refreshing. Liz Fromen's figure passed through the colonnade. A rustle came from the bushes. Who's there? Liz stopped walking. This was a path reserved for nobles. It couldn't be a servant from the palace. No one should be here at this hour. Liz gasped softly. Ah, she recognized the figure in the bushes. Rude looked up at the sound. Your Majesty. Liz hurried over. You should have told me in advance. Liz's voice softened. I heard from His Majesty that you've been very busy and haven't had time to rest. Rude lowered his head, cheeks reddening. I was discourteous. I'm very sorry. Liz smiled and shook her head. That's not what I meant. Don't take it the wrong way. Her eyes were full of sincere joy. I'm really happy to see you. Then she asked, Rude, did you meet your father? Is everything all right? Rude smiled. Yes, this visit meant more than usual. Come to think of it, after arriving in the future, I haven't seen my parents even once. I'm curious what they'll be like 5 years from now. Curious and a little afraid to see them. Rude nodded slightly. I see. I hope I'm not disturbing you. Liz's smile was warm. Not at all. I'm glad, actually. Rude asked quietly. Why are you out here alone so late? Liz explained, His Majesty's birthday is coming up. I'm hosting the banquet, and there's more to do than I expected, so I came out to take a break. Rude asked uncertainly, You're happy to see me? Then he pressed, Could you tell me why? Liz answered without hesitation. Of course. She broke into a brilliant smile. Because we're friends. Rude repeated softly, You mean friends? Liz's smile was bright. Yes, we get along well, and we both have a good impression of each other. So we're friends. And if we're not, then let's become friends now. What do you think? Rude's expression froze at once, and a hint of pain flashed through his eyes. Liz noticed the change. Why did you suddenly get so serious? She asked cautiously. Do you dislike me? Or have you only been kind to me because I'm the Empress? Rude asked in confusion. What are friends supposed to do? Liz blinked. What? Rude lowered his head, his voice sounding lonely. I've never had friends before, so I don't know what to do. Liz let out a helpless little laugh. Actually, you don't have to do anything special. Rude asked, puzzled. Then why make friends? Light shone in Liz's eyes. To share memories, create experiences, and receive emotional support. That's what friendship means to me. She added with a smile. And if that kind of relationship keeps going, that's what makes someone a friend. Rude repeated softly, share memories, create experiences. Then he asked, To you, am I someone like that? Liz smiled. Yes. We've already shared good memories together, haven't we? Haven't we? Rude replied with a faint smile. You're right. But there was hesitation in his smile. He rubbed the back of his neck, looking awkward, as if the smile were only a mask to hide his nervousness. Liz continued, Then why are you wandering around here so late? Rude dropped his casual expression. His eyes quietly waited for her answer, filled now with curiosity and scrutiny. Rude explained, I'm memorizing the layout of the palace. I'm going to the market the day after tomorrow, so I'm learning the route in advance. Liz nodded in understanding. I see. Oh, her eyes lit up. There are lots of shops in the market, right? Rude replied, Yes. It's a street lined with stores. Liz asked, Rude, are you going alone? Rude answered, Yes. I don't know anyone in the capital, so I have no choice but to go alone. Liz thought about it. That sounds lonely and sad, and you might not know the roads well. It'd be a problem if you got lost. Rude said a little awkwardly, Actually, I've already memorized the way. Liz suggested, Rude, could I go with you that day? Just the two of us. Rude looked incredulous. With Her Majesty the Empress? Liz asked worriedly. Would that trouble you? Rude hurriedly waved his hands. Oh no, it's not like that. He shook his head again and again. Movements hurried, a slight cold sweat appearing at his temple. His voice was full of urgency and fluster. Liz pleaded. Please. Rude hesitated. But if you go without guards, Liz cut him off. You're my guard, aren't you? Rude. Besides, if we bring more guards, we'll just attract more attention, right? Liz said excitedly. Actually, there are things I want to buy too. And while we're at it, let's get something tasty to eat. Rude reluctantly agreed. All right, but you have to stay close to me. Liz agreed readily. Of course. Rude promised confidently. Let's have fun together. You won't regret it. Liz looked forward to it. I'm really excited. Rude answered, Yes, Your Majesty. He gave a short, respectful half-bow. His tone instantly became formal and precise, and his shoulders straightened a little. The murmurs in the hall seemed to drop away, and everyone around him looked in his direction. Only his first words lingered in the air. Liz's lips curved slightly. In her mind, she was already planning the details of the gift, quiet anticipation hidden in her tone. Layla asked, Do you really need to go this far? If you just tell me, I'll prepare the best gift for you. Liz explained, No matter what, this is a gift for my husband. As his wife, I should prepare it myself. Liz said to Layla, Well then, Layla, I'm off. Layla reminded her, Please be very careful. Liz closed the door. Okay, I'll just stay near the guards. Phew, thank goodness Layla helped me. Thanks to her, I was able to slip out without being noticed. Rude asked in surprise, Your Majesty, that outfit. Rude froze for half a breath, lips parted, but unable to form a complete sentence. His expression showed obvious surprise. Liz said, It's called a disguise. Liz walked briskly. Thank goodness we got out without being noticed. Rude asked, Why are you in such a hurry? Liz explained, Well, I promised Layla I'd be back before sunset. And if I'm late, Senior might catch me. Liz stopped, panting. Phew, this isn't easy. Is it because I haven't gone out in so long? Rude turned around. Are you very tired, Your Majesty? Liz looked at him in confusion. Rude reached out a hand. Forgive my discourtesy. A soft green light glowed in his palm and instantly wrapped around Liz. Liz opened her eyes wide. Is this magic? Rude answered calmly, Yes. You seemed very tired, so I made your body feel lighter. Light shone in Liz's eyes. Rude, you're just as amazing as ever. In this world, using magic requires meeting two basic conditions. The first is ritual. Magic has its own formulas, and not even the slightest error is permitted. One must follow the prescribed ritual order. The second condition, and the most important one, is the total amount of mana the caster possesses. This is an inborn gift. Only a very small number of people possess magic power. No matter how well one understands rituals or theory, if one lacks the necessary mana, magic cannot be used. That is why magicians are exceedingly rare, and true geniuses are rarer still. Liz marveled. As far as I know, physical restoration is advanced magic, and you cast it in less than a minute. You really are William Gandis' successor. The street was full of noise, hawkers calling one after another. There was holy water containing a witch's tears, and pendants said to hold a mermaid's true love. Rude asked, But Your Majesty, what exactly are you trying to buy? Liz turned around. Stop calling me Your Majesty. Call me Liz. She put her hands on her hips. If you keep calling me Your Majesty, this disguise is meaningless. Rude paused. Oh, Liz raised one finger for emphasis. He tried softly, then, Liz. Rude's cheeks flushed red. Liz smiled confidently. Yes, Rude. Rude quietly asked. Then, Liz, what did you come here for today? Liz replied, I came to buy a gift. Rude looked puzzled. A gift? Liz added, Yes, a birthday gift. And also make some memories with you, Rude. Rude repeated, Memories. Liz said firmly, That's right, memories. She continued with a smile, I still haven't decided what to buy, but I want to look at books first. With a clear little chime, Liz pushed open the bookstore door. Hello. The owner came up warmly. Welcome. Are you looking for a particular book? Liz explained, I want to give someone a gift. Do you have any books that would be suitable? The elderly shopkeeper leaned in. HM, what did you say? Liz raised her voice. A gift. I want to buy a book as a present. Which one will be good? The shopkeeper still looked blank. Huh? What did you say? Liz gave up. Forget it. Let's look for ourselves. A poetry collection? Reading for peace of mind. No, that person is already busy enough. He doesn't have time to leisurely read poetry. Wait, but wouldn't any other book be the same? Liz went pale. This is terrible. Rude noticed something was wrong. Liz, is something the matter? Liz hurriedly shook her head. And no. Rude pressed on. Then why do you look like that? Liz lowered her head. I just suddenly realized how thoughtless I was. Giving a book to someone who's already exhausted. I should think more carefully about what that person truly needs. Rude's expression turned complicated. Then, Rude proposed, May I take you to a shop I know? He led Liz through the bustling streets. This way, Liz. Liz asked curiously, What kind of place is it? Rude replied, "It's a shop my father often visits." Liz's eyes instantly brightened. "Your father? William Ganda?" "A shop William Ganda often goes to." She excitedly confirmed, "Did I hear that right?" Rude pushed open an ornate door, and a woman's voice came from inside. "We're not open today." Rude responded calmly, "It's me, Rude." The shopkeeper poked her head out. "Oh, that voice." Then she suddenly sprang up from behind the counter. "Rude." She rushed over with her arms spread wide, grinning from ear to ear. She looked him over enthusiastically. "Look how tall you've gotten. And so handsome, too. How did that old man end up with such an outstanding son? Come on, call me mother." Rude said expressionlessly, "I refuse." The shopkeeper crossed her arms and huffed. Then she turned to Liz. "HM, isn't this Her Majesty the Empress?" Liz looked a little surprised. "Oh, hello, but I disguised myself." The shopkeeper folded her arms. "So what brings you here?" Rude answered, "I'm here on an errand for my father." The shopkeeper's gaze sharpened. Then she turned to Liz. "Your Majesty, please wait just a moment. Feel free to look around. I'll give you a special discount." Rude said evenly, "Please wait." Liz smiled. "Take your time." Rude couldn't help thinking, Her Majesty really is kind. Liz looked around. The shop was full of strange bottles and jars. So many interesting things. She curiously examined the potions on the shelves. Liz stopped. "No, this isn't the time to wander around. I need to choose a gift." She halted in front of one item, her eyes completely drawn to it. From a distance came the shopkeeper's voice. "Rude, tell your father he should stop living and just die already." Rude replied calmly, "That's something you should tell him yourself." Then he noticed Liz. "Liz." Liz turned back, eyes sparkling. "Are you done?" Rude walked closer. "Yes. What are you looking at?" The shopkeeper followed after him. "As expected of Her Majesty. You really have excellent taste. That is a masterpiece by a musical craftsman." A finely crafted music box gleamed in the light. The shopkeeper asked, "Would you like it?" Liz thought, "I want to give this to that exhausted senior. Let its beautiful melody heal him." Her eyes were full of anticipation. "Yes. Is this for sale?" The shopkeeper smiled. "Normally, I wouldn't sell it. But since it's Your Majesty who wants it, I will." Liz asked, "How much is it?" The shopkeeper held up 3 fingers. "This much." Liz Fromen's eyes widened. 3 gold coins." The shopkeeper grinned smugly. "Of course, gold coins." Liz wailed inwardly. So expensive. Fighting back tears, she took out her purse. "Here's the money." The shopkeeper accepted it with a smile. "Thank you, Your Majesty." It really felt like I'd been shaken down. A beautiful golden pocket watch glinted in the light. What a lovely pocket watch. The shopkeeper smiled and asked, "You do have good taste. Do you like it? If you buy it, I'll give you a special discount." Sweat beaded on Liz's forehead. Even with a discount, it costs more than I have left. I didn't bring much money. The shopkeeper smiled. "If it's a gift for someone, especially for someone close to you, I can adjust the price." Liz looked almost disbelieving. "Really?" The shopkeeper asked, "Do you have someone in mind?" Liz admitted honestly, "Yes. Someone I'm very grateful to." The shopkeeper's smile deepened. "Oh, really? Then I'll give you a good deal." She turned to Rude at the side. Rude was glaring at her with displeasure. The shopkeeper waved cheerfully. "Your Majesty, come play again sometime." The shop door closed softly. Liz replied in a low voice, "Okay." The shopkeeper watched them leave and then turned to look out the window. That Rude and Liz stood side by side, sunlight spilling over them through the flowers. "You wanted to see her that badly, and now your wish has finally come true." The shopkeeper stroked her chin. "But I feel like I forgot something." She suddenly realized, I'll mix them up. That music box may look beautiful, but its melody is awful. Still, it has weak sleep and recovery magic attached to it. It's good for physical recovery, so it should be fine, right?" Liz's voice rang out. "I'm happy. Everything's settled, Rude." Rude asked, "Yes. Do you like that music box?" Liz smiled and answered, "Yes, I like it very much." Looking at her, Rude said, "The person who receives it will definitely be happy." Liz spoke confidently, "Right? His Majesty can be a little picky, but I think he'll like this." She waited a moment, then turned around. Why didn't he answer? Rude stood in shadow, head lowered, clutching the tie at his chest tightly. Liz called softly, "Rude?" Rude lifted his head with a smile on his face. "Are you buying a gift for His Majesty?" Liz smiled and answered, "Yes. His Majesty's birthday is coming soon. Even though I'm the Empress, I should still give him a gift." Rude's gaze fell on the gift box in her hands. "I see. He'll definitely be happy." Liz replied hopefully, "I hope so." Rude gave a slight bow. "Now that your business is done, we should go, Your Majesty." Liz suddenly asked, "Oh, right. Rude, are you hungry?" Rude answered, "I am." He pointed toward a nearby stall. The skewers there looked delicious. "Would you like some, Your Majesty?" Liz beamed. "Great." Then she turned to Rude. "I'll go buy them. Wait here." Rude went alone toward the stall while Liz sat on a bench waiting. He stopped at the stall and took out a few coins. The skewers sizzled over the fire. The fragrant smell of grilled meat drifted over. Rude came back carrying 2 skewers. He handed one to Liz. "Thank you," Liz said. "You're welcome. Enjoy." The setting sun dyed the sky warm colors. Liz felt grateful inside. Today was so much fun. In the sunset, Rude's voice sounded out. "I think we should head back now." Liz looked toward the sky. You're right. The sun's about to set." Standing beneath the ornate portico, Liz said, "Today was fun." Rude replied, "I had fun too, Your Majesty." Liz held out a small box. "Thank you for accompanying me today, Rude. It's nothing much, but this is my thanks." A delicate pocket watch lay quietly inside the box. Rude murmured, "A gift." His face reddened slightly. "I didn't prepare anything." Liz smiled. "You did give me something?" Rude asked in confusion. "What?" Liz gave him a playful smile. "Lamb skewers." Then she added, "I'm glad. Today was fun. Otherwise, I'd be sad." Rude's gaze trembled. He looked at Liz, his eyes turning gentle. "I had fun too." Liz turned toward the palace. "All right, Rude. I'm going inside now." Rude thought, Layla will probably run straight to His Majesty soon. Then he bowed. "Please go in. Good night. Rest well." Liz returned to the palace. "I'm back from taking care of things." Footsteps echoed through the empty hall as Layla came hurrying over. She anxiously checked Liz over. "Thank goodness. You're all right." Liz pulled out another gift. "Then try putting this on your head." It was a delicate bow hair ornament with a green gem set in the center. Layla asked, "What is this?" Liz explained, "It's a gift I bought for you, Layla." Layla stared at her in shock. "F for me." Liz confirmed, "Yes. I thought of you, so I bought it." Layla's voice trembled. "Thank you. I'll treasure it." She hugged the gift tightly, cheeks slightly flushed. Liz held out her hand. "Give it to me. I'll put it on for you." Layla hesitated. "How could I ask that of you?" Liz urged, "Hurry up. My arms are getting tired." Liz smoothed Layla's long hair and pinned the ornament near the tip of it. "It suits you well, Layla." Layla lifted her head, eyes shining. "Thank you, Your Majesty." She reached up as if to remove the ornament. Liz frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "You don't like it." Layla quickly explained, "No, it's too precious. I'm afraid I might damage it. I only want to wear it on special days." Liz's expression softened. "I see." She grew thoughtful. "Looks like I'll have to buy you more gifts in the future." Liz quietly left, leaving Layla immersed in happiness. "I wonder how Senior will react." Holding the gift, Liz was full of anticipation. Even if it wasn't like with Rude or Layla, perhaps we could still share a little happiness. The next day was His Majesty's birthday banquet. The streets were decorated with lanterns and ornaments, and the people celebrated His Majesty's birthday with a festival. The Imperial Palace provided wine and meat to add to the merriment. As one of the banquet's hosts, I had been busy since morning. It was troublesome, but it couldn't be helped. As the host of the banquet, I couldn't dress too casually. And more than that, this was my husband's birthday banquet. Liz was carefully dressed by the maids. "No matter what, this outfit is truly beautiful." A maid placed a lavish necklace around her neck, and she looked at herself in the mirror. Her eyes shone. "I should get going. Thanks for your hard work." "Oh, right. I need to hurry and deliver the gift." Liz stood alone in the room. The gift was in the drawer. "How should I get it to him?" A knock sounded at the door. She called out, "Bring it in." Liz walked lightly toward the door. "Senior, today, She turned with a smile. "What do you think? Do I look pretty in your eyes too, Senior?" "Because you're so dazzling." Adrian stood there in magnificent formal wear, his gaze deep. "So beautiful it makes me feel ashamed of myself." Adrian turned his face slightly, his eyes calm. He said flatly, "That dress suits you. It looks nice." Liz's cheeks flushed. "What did you say?" Adrian explained, "It's like drawing stripes on a pumpkin and turning it into a watermelon." Liz thought, "So, that was a compliment, right?" She broke into a radiant smile. "Thank you for the compliment. Senior, you look especially handsome today, too." She looped her arm through Adrian's. Adrian murmured, "Let's go." Liz suddenly remembered. I haven't given you your gift yet." Adrian didn't mind. "As long as you give it to me before today ends." Liz strolled through the garden. The night felt warm. Is summer almost here? At first, the nights were still cold. Back then, you even draped your coat over my shoulders. Liz looked at Adrian beside her. Adrian was staring at her. Adrian thought in confusion, "Why is she looking at me like that?" Liz looked away. "No, it's nothing. I just think our relationship has changed a lot." Adrian asked, puzzled, "Relationship?" Liz said yes. Liz recalled, "At first, we fought every time we met." Adrian admitted, "That's true." Liz continued, "But now, we're partners working together toward a common goal." Adrian said nothing. Liz smiled with confidence. "Ever since I came to the future, everything changed." Adrian looked at her. "Do you regret it?" Liz's smile only brightened. "No, I really like it. She suddenly moved closer to Adrian, her tone light. Having an ally is better than having an enemy, right? Right. Adrian abruptly turned his back to her. In a low voice, he asked, "Do you like friends more than allies?" Liz answered without hesitation, "Of course. Friends are definitely better than allies." "Why do you ask?" Adrian replied quietly, "I understand." Then he suddenly turned and strode away. Liz froze in place. Huh? What does he understand? Liz took a deep breath. "Don't be nervous. You even handled the wedding anniversary banquet, so just do it the same way." She clenched her fists. "Hang in there." The herald's voice rang out. "His Majesty the Emperor and Her Majesty the Empress have arrived." Adrian and Liz stood side by side. Their glittering attire and the splendid palace complemented each other like a painting. Liz's arm lightly hooked around Adrian's. She could feel the tension in the muscles of his arm. Liz asked softly, "Senior, are you nervous?" Adrian turned his head to look at her. "Me?" He allowed a short laugh. "Don't be ridiculous. If I got nervous over something this trivial, how could I be emperor?" Liz felt countless gazes gathering on them. Their attention was uncomfortable. "Don't be nervous. Just pretend nothing's happening." Adrian noticed her stiffness. "My arm's about to break." Liz quickly let go. Sorry." Adrian asked, "You're nervous?" Liz admitted quietly, "A little." Adrian glanced down her hand. "Judging by your grip, it's more than a little." Liz blushed bright red. "Don't make fun of me." Adrian's voice softened. "There's no need to be this tense." Liz replied, "I know, but that's easier said than done. Showing the nobles that we're getting along, even if not intentionally, is beneficial for us too. In everyone's eyes, we look like a loving married couple. Even if we became allies rather than lovers, the nobles are no longer as wary of me as before. Maybe because of that, I'm no longer as irritated as I used to be." Liz thought, "It seems our relationship has moved one step further." She leaned against Adrian's side. Adrian greeted the crowd. "Thank you all for coming today to celebrate my birthday. Please enjoy yourselves." Music flowed gracefully through the hall. Liz turned to face Adrian. "All right, Senior, happy birthday." Adrian raised a brow. "Is that all? Just words?" Liz shook her head. "Of course not. I'll give you the gift later." Adrian looked surprised. "You really prepared one?" The corners of Adrian's lips lifted slightly. "Then I'll look forward to it." Adrian and Liz embraced as they danced, their steps turning through the magnificent palace. The guests came forward to offer their congratulations. "Happy birthday." Karna and Darian bowed deeply. "Congratulations." Adrian, seated on the throne, gave a slight nod. "Thank you." Darian smiled. "We've already had the servants send our humble gift to your room." Adrian replied, "I look forward to it." Karna's eyes sparkled. "How cute." Liz looked at everything in front of her, but her thoughts were on Adrian. Another noble stepped forward to congratulate him. Liz's gaze wandered through the crowd, but she couldn't focus on anything. Footsteps came and went, leaving only hollow silence behind. A confident smile appeared. It was Senior Bayod. By custom, the ducal house should have presented its gift first, but this time they hadn't. That meant they intended to appear last as the finale. Bayod stepped forward and greeted the emperor. With an elegant bow, she offered her blessing. "Happy birthday, Your Majesty. This is a small token from me." Adrian accepted the gift. "Thank you." Normally, gifts are either delivered before the banquet begins or after it ends, unless someone wants to flaunt their wealth. But who would dare show off in front of the emperor? However, presenting it in front of everyone means only one thing. It means they are confident in their gift. The gift box was opened, and a ripple went through the crowd. Adrian's gaze swept the hall. Liz suddenly grabbed his arm, her expression shocked. A triumphant smile appeared on Bayod's face, her red lips curling slightly. Liz inhaled sharply. It was a bracelet set with blue diamonds. The bracelet gleamed brilliantly, a work by the legendary craftsman DeWitt. Bayod's smile was full of calculation. Liz hadn't expected this to be a DeWitt piece. No wonder they were so confident. Liz's hand unconsciously tightened. "Compared to that, my gift." The very person who should have been happiest, however, showed no reaction at all. Adrian looked at Bayod expressionlessly. "You must have gone to a great deal of effort." Bayod dipped her head slightly. "It is my honor to offer Your Majesty a gift." Adrian tapped the armrest lightly with his fingers. "Thank you." Liz looked at his profile. "Senior, you don't look grateful at all." As expected of His Majesty, even seeing a DeWitt bracelet doesn't change his expression. No, he isn't pretending to stay calm. He truly doesn't care. Liz felt a wave of dejection. If a gift that expensive leaves him unmoved, then mine doesn't stand a chance. Her fingers trembled faintly at the edge of the gift box, and her eyes dropped involuntarily to her own wrapping. The words caught in her throat. She swallowed, silently. Adrian suddenly turned to her. "Aren't you giving me a gift?" he asked expressionlessly. Don't joke around. Where's the gift? Liz sat up straight at once, forcing a smile. I am the gift. Liz insisted. I'm not joking. Adrian sighed. What a waste of anticipation. He leaned back against the throne, and Liz could only laugh awkwardly. Liz tested the waters. Senior Bayad's gift is amazing. You must be very happy, Senior. Adrian replied blandly. Not especially. Liz paused. Really? Not happy. Adrian's gaze settled on her. It is very beautiful, though. Then he suddenly proposed. Do you want it? I'll give it to you. Liz shook her head repeatedly. And no, thank you. Senior, you know that was a birthday gift, don't you? How can you casually give it away? Adrian stood up. The Empress and I will take our leave first. He waved to the crowd. Please continue to enjoy yourselves. The clamor of the banquet hall was left behind, and only the silent palace in the night remained. Liz quietly followed him toward the garden. Where's he going? The clock tower pointed to 11:40. The day is almost over. Liz took a deep breath. At this rate, today really will end. She made up her mind. I'll just go for it. She hurried after him. Senior, please wait for me in front of the palace. Adrian stopped and turned to look at her. What? Liz ran into the palace, her footsteps echoing through the empty hall. She came to a sudden stop, then rushed back to her room. Seeing Liz in such a hurry, a maid asked, Your Highness, why are you in such a rush? Liz pulled the gift box out of the drawer. It can't get any later than this. Lifting her skirts, she ran through the corridor. Panting, Liz ran up to Adrian. Sorry to keep you waiting. This is your gift. Adrian looked at the box in her hands. Didn't you just say there wasn't one? Liz avoided his gaze. There was a reason for that. I didn't say I didn't have one. Adrian opened the gift box. Inside lay a luxurious golden music box, quiet and still. A red ribbon rested to the side. Liz explained softly, Senior, when you're tired from handling state affairs, you can listen to this. It's made by a famous music box craftsman, so the sound quality is guaranteed. I originally wanted to give you a book, but you're too busy. Though compared to Senior Bayad's gift, this is rather shabby, Adrian replied in a low voice. Thank you. His voice was quiet, but it reached Liz's ears clearly. Thank you, Liz. A genuine smile appeared on Adrian's face. He looked at the music box and then at her. Liz's cheeks instantly turned scarlet. That smile, that face is unfair. She covered her burning cheeks. I can't believe Senior actually charmed me. Outside the window, raindrops began tapping against the glass. I'm about to lose it. Liz recalled what Adrian had said then. Thank you, Liz. She thought, with that expression and that smile, that's not fair. I can hardly believe it. Senior actually left me flustered. Liz's gaze shifted toward the window. The rain pattered softly. Layla asked, Your Majesty, do you like rainy days? Liz answered, yes. They feel refreshing. Liz picked up a book. Let's keep reading. On the cover were the words, Kinds of Gods. She opened the pages. This may have nothing to do with our current situation, but who knows? On one page was an illustration of the god of time and fate. Ah, this is the statue in the center of the Academy fountain. Come to think of it, we were always arguing in front of that statue. Back then, we practically wanted to devour each other alive. He was the Academy's brightest star, the crown prince of the empire, the embodiment of perfection. Everyone loved him, admired him, respected him. He was always gentle and courteous, beloved by every student. There was even a fan club called the ESA Club, and I was the only one who didn't like him. Senior was kind to everyone on the surface, but his eyes were always cold and hard. Because of that, I could see through the truth beneath his disguise. Senior actually hated being surrounded by crowds. That discomfort let me see through his mask, through that fake smile. So, I was the one who started our endless conflict. Sigh, I really want to apologize, but I can never find the right moment. Liz's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of rain outside. So loud, she stood up. I should close the curtains. What? Liz stared out the window in shock. The sound of rain suddenly grew heavier. Who's there? Rude was standing there in the rain, just like that. Liz's pupils shrank. Wait a second. That person is Rude, in the middle of the downpour, completely soaked, standing there silently like a sorrowful statue. It was Rude. Liz stared out the window in astonishment. Wait, that person is Rude, drenched in the storm, standing there motionless like a tragic sculpture. Rude. Liz's memory stirred. The rain awakened it. That day had also been like this with such heavy rain. The thunder was like the bass of an old film, and even now her fingertips could remember the cold. In the curtain of rain, a little boy was curled up in a corner, shivering. He was soaked through, his face pale, his eyes empty. Rain poured down. Liz walked ahead, holding an umbrella, with maids following behind her. Your Highness, what exactly happened? If you would only tell us. Her gaze fell on the boy. Liz hurried over. What are you doing here? You'll catch cold like this. But Rude still didn't move at all. Liz took another step closer. The scene in the rain was exactly the same as that day. Liz stared at him in shock. Rude lifted his head. Those eyes were warm as sunlight. My Liz. Liz stood by the bed while the doctor looked through the chart. There's no major danger present, but because his body temperature dropped too low, he still needs to be observed for a while. Liz asked softly, I see. The doctor turned around. As long as his body temperature is controlled properly, there's no need for too much concern. Liz nodded slightly. Thank you. The doctor hesitated. But I don't recognize this person. Who is he? Liz suddenly gave an awkward laugh. All right, he's a new attendant. He only arrived recently. He probably got caught in the rain because he got lost. The doctor nodded. I see. Turning to leave, he said, I'll wait in the next room. Call me if you need anything. Liz watched him go and replied personally, all right, thank you. Liz let out a sigh of relief. Good. He didn't ask further. Liz turned back toward the bed. For now, I have to keep Rude's identity a secret. Rude lay on the bed, breathing painfully. Right? Why was he standing outside in the rain? Liz sank into thought. Why did he have that expression? Rude's lips trembled slightly. Liz quickly asked, Rude, are you awake? Liz bent over to look at him. If it still hurts, I'll call the doctor again. Why were you standing in the rain? Rude didn't answer. He only reached out his hand. Liz blinked. HM, does he want me to hold his hand? Hesitantly, Liz reached out. The moment her fingertips touched his, he gripped her hand tightly. Before Liz could react to him, a force suddenly yanked her down. Liz fell into Rude's arms, her cheeks instantly burning hot. Rude, what are you doing all of a sudden? Rude gazed at her, his voice hoarse and gentle. You came again, just like that day. You came to save me again, Liz. Liz looked down at him, and her heart skipped a beat. Rude's fingers tightened around her hand. It felt like magic. Liz sat up, looking at Rude in confusion. What did you mean by that day? He had already fallen asleep. Liz let go of his hand and sighed. Forget it. I'll ask him when he wakes up. How touching. A cold voice rang out from behind her. Liz whipped around. In alarm, she asked, Since when have you been standing there? You scared me to death. Adrian replied icily, Since the moment Rude became your attendant. So he had seen everything from the very beginning. Adrian continued questioning her. More importantly, does taking care of a patient really require that much intimacy? You could have called someone else. Liz stammered out an explanation. That was just an accident. Rude was too weak, and I lost control for a moment. Adrian responded expressionlessly. Whether it was an accident or not, this is the Imperial Palace. You have to be careful at all times and watch out for other people's eyes. Do you want people spreading rumors that the Empress is fooling around with another man? Liz lowered her head and said quietly, I'll be careful. Adrian clenched his fists tightly. Rude is a friend. There he goes again, saying friend. Liz asked in surprise, What did you just say? Adrian called out, Liz Curson, are you there? How's a matter I asked you about earlier coming along? Curson answered, yes. I've already prepared it. Liz puffed up in annoyance. Honestly, when someone calls you, at least don't pretend you can't hear them. Liz thought to herself again, what's with him? Why did he suddenly get so sharp? Then Curson said, like I always say, you really shouldn't be taking that so often. Adrian replied flatly, I know. Liz called out, Senior, Your Majesty. Adrian asked, what is it? Liz asked worriedly, what was that? Are you hurt somewhere? Adrian grasped the doorknob, his expression cold. Instead of worrying about someone as worthless as me, why don't you pay attention to your wonderful friend instead? Footsteps echoed through the empty corridor. High heels clicked crisply against the floor. Liz stopped, clenching both hands. Layla turned around, delight on her face. Your Highness, you're here. Did something happen? Liz looked dejected and kept her head down. Nothing happened. Liz collapsed onto the bed with her back to Layla. Layla asked anxiously, Your Highness, what on earth happened? Please at least tell me. Liz's voice was muffled in the pillow. I said, really nothing. More importantly, Layla, go get some rest. You must be exhausted today. Layla lowered her gaze and sighed. All right. Liz let out a long sigh. No matter how I think about it, I just can't understand. I didn't do it on purpose. Liz hugged the pillow tightly. She buried her face in it. Adrian's cold words echoed in her mind. Why don't you pay attention to your wonderful friend instead? Liz couldn't understand why he would say something like that. She clenched the pillow. I was only worried about Rude. Sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating her downcast face. Lord Curson won't tell me anything either. His Majesty forbade me, so I can't tell you. Liz recalled Adrian's cold, retreating figure. What kind of medicine could make him react like that? She remembered seeing the medicine from the Herson Empire. Like I always say, you really shouldn't be taking that so often. I know. Liz stood there listening to their conversation. Judging by their tone, it didn't sound like anything good. She raked a hand irritably through her hair. Whatever. Let whatever happens, happen. Liz threw herself onto the bed. What am I even worrying about? No, I still care too much. Liz restlessly rolled over, and rubbed her cheek against the pillow. She quietly opened one eye, her gaze uncertain. Even so, Liz suddenly sat up. Her mind was made up. At the very least, I need to go see him once and talk to him again. Moonlight filled the corridor through the windows. Liz shook her head, driving away the wild thoughts in her mind. Why do I always assume the worst? Taking a deep breath, she walked toward the tightly shut door. Her footsteps echoed in the hall. Senior is still up this late. I should go in and finish what I wanted to say. He must have a lot on his mind. After all, he hasn't officially ascended the throne yet. He must not be used to it. She knocked softly on the door. Your Majesty, Reuben stopped Liz. Reuben asked cheerfully, Your Highness, what brings you here? Liz smiled awkwardly. His Majesty always works so late, so I thought I'd bring him a snack. Reuben smiled gently. Haha, I see. But His Majesty becomes extremely focused when he works, so he may not eat it. Liz said awkwardly. Is that so? Still, ever since His Majesty started taking care of the Empress's affairs, he does occasionally eat biscuits and things like that. Liz was startled. Reuben, what did you just say? Reuben looked puzzled. Yes, when His Majesty is handling your work, like today, he occasionally eats sweets. Liz's pupils contracted. Wait, you mean this is my responsibility? Reuben explained with a smile, of course. The Empire's administration and management, and the various events and banquets. Lately, His Majesty has transferred those duties from you to himself. Reuben remembered that time. His Majesty said he wanted you to rest properly because you had been going through a difficult time. Liz's eyes widened in shock. No way. Then, all the Empire's administration and the recent banquets. Those were originally my responsibilities? She remembered Adrian burying himself in work. It would make sense for him to handle the birthday banquet, since it was hosted by the Empress. But why did he take everything on himself? How could I have cared so much about something so small when it was never even something he needed to worry about? I knew nothing, and I said such childish things. Liz recalled scenes from the past. Whenever Adrian saw her flustered and overwhelmed, he would step in first. Do you need help? Liz finally understood. He had been helping me all along. He was handling everything by himself, so then, what medicine was Emperor Adrian taking? Reuben thought for a moment. That. He's been working late very often lately, so perhaps he hasn't been resting well. He asked for some sleeping pills. Liz suddenly understood. So that's it. I understand now. Reuben, are these His Majesty's last documents for today? Reuben answered yes. But why do you ask? Liz knocked lightly on the door. Without even looking up, Adrian said, I already know who it is, so why bother knocking? Liz pushed the door open and placed the documents on the desk. Adrian asked, Is this the last batch for today? Adrian picked them up. Wait a moment. I'll look these over. He set down his pen and picked up his teacup. But before that, Reuben, Liz pushed the cake toward him. Sorry, could you bring me another cup? Adrian looked at the box. This box. Adrian said, If you drink coffee, you won't be able to sleep tonight. Liz replied, Tonight is perfect for working, though I'm sorry to bother you while you're busy. I have a lot of questions I want to ask you. Liz wore a dark smile on her face. I have a great many things to ask you. Adrian's breathing hitched, and a bead of sweat slid down from his temple. Adrian said guiltily, What are you talking about all of a sudden? It's late. Go back to your room. Liz's gaze fell on the desk. Those documents you stay up every night processing. I heard they were actually my responsibilities. Adrian turned his head away. I don't know what you're talking about. Liz snapped, Stop pretending. Adrian covered his ears. Are you here to complain that I stole your work? Don't worry. Just keep doing what you usually do. Liz ignored him and sat down. Adrian asked, What are you trying to do now? Liz replied, Can't you tell? I'm going to do my own work. Adrian looked at her speechlessly, without even bringing a pen. Seeing how completely unprepared she was, all of Liz's words vanished, leaving behind only deep embarrassment. Holding a pen and staring at the documents, she thought I just grabbed these on impulse. As a result, Liz looked utterly lost. I really can't understand this part. Adrian's voice came from beside her. Imperial budget proposals are like that. They're difficult, aren't they? Liz stiffened as Adrian leaned back in his chair. See, the more you force yourself, the longer it takes. Stop being so stubborn. But Liz suddenly cut him off. No, Liz Fromen's voice trembled. If I let go, you'll overwork yourself again, and in the end, you'll only be able to sleep with sleeping pills. Why did you hide it from me from the start? Adrian looked at her directly. Liz asked, Am I really that unreliable? Adrian lowered his eyes and let out a bitter sigh. That's not it. I live here, so I'm familiar with this place. But you're different. You were thrown defenselessly into a strange imperial palace. I thought you were already overwhelmed, so I wanted to at least handle these things myself. Liz Fromen lowered her eyes. I understand how you feel, but even so, I still can't just stand by and do nothing. She turned sharply toward him. We're partners now. Adrian's eyes shifted slightly. Liz clutched at the fabric over her chest. You may still think I'm unreliable, but like I said before, she lifted her head, her gaze burning with resolve. When things feel hard for you, you can rely on me. Adrian's pupils suddenly contracted. The taut line of his jaw slowly relaxed, and the corner of his lips curved into a faint, almost imperceptible smile. The smile overflowed into Adrian's eyes. Yes, you did say that. Liz's heart skipped a beat. He smiled again. This time it wasn't an act. It was a smile from the heart. Adrian's tone grew lighter. Since you've said that much, then I'll accept your help. Liz snapped back to herself. Yes. Adrian pointed toward the desk. Then please review the documents over there. If there's anything you don't understand, bring it over at any time. Liz clenched her fist onto the desk. Great, now I can finally help him. But when she looked at the documents, sweat broke out on her forehead. Your Majesty, how should I handle this part? Adrian thought helplessly. She's already running into trouble from the very start. He began instructing her. Look, when calculating the quarterly budget, instead of guessing, check last year's records. Your Majesty, sorry to interrupt, but why were you so angry earlier? Adrian said, well, I finally got myself a partner, and yet all you could think about was your friend. I wasn't joking, because Adrian's voice grew so soft, it was almost inaudible. Liz asked, HM, what did you just say? Adrian covered his face. It's nothing. On the sickbed, Rude's body trembled ever so slightly. He opened his eyes in confusion. Why am I here? He held his head. Just like that time, Liz saved me again. The moment he thought of what had happened, Rude shyly covered his face. First, I have to find Liz. He slowly searched for Liz and finally stopped outside a room where voices could be heard. Adrian shouted in dissatisfaction, Liz, I'm asking you this very seriously. Rude came to a realization. Just as I thought. Morning light spilled across the palace. Is Rude all right? His complexion looked terrible yesterday. She stopped in front of a door and knocked softly. Rude opened it. He looked exhausted. Liz looked up at him, and a smile bloomed on her face. Rude, you're awake. Are you feeling better? Does anything still hurt? Rude lowered his eyes and said nothing. Liz tilted her head. HM, what's wrong? For some reason, his expression looked a little sad. Rude suddenly brightened. Yes, thanks to your Majesty, I'm feeling much better now. Liz beamed. Really? That's wonderful. This is the usual Rude. Looks like I was overthinking it. Liz looked at Rude and asked, Rude, what were you trying to say yesterday? You know, yesterday, you said I saved you again. Rude lowered his eyes. Maybe. Rude awkwardly apologized. Sorry, I might not have been in my right mind yesterday. I think maybe I was dreaming. I may have mixed up reality and dreams. Liz looked slightly puzzled. Really? Rude, about what happened between us before. Rude interrupted her. Your Majesty, shouldn't you be having breakfast? Liz came to herself. Oh, right. What am I doing? Rude said, I'm already fine. Please go eat. Liz turned to leave, then looked back at him. Well then, Rude, I'll come see you again. Rude replied stiffly, all right. Watching Liz's departing back, Rude felt utterly forlorn inside. From that day on, I spent almost every day handling the work the Empress was supposed to do. Layla entered carrying a stack of new documents. Your Majesty, these are the new documents that require approval. Liz jerked her head up. More? How can there be so many documents? She pressed a hand to her forehead and sighed. Handling all this is still difficult. I'm still far too inexperienced. But thanks to His Majesty's help, I can barely manage. Adrian looked at Liz. Another armful of documents again? Well, it is your first time. I rely on Senior a lot. Adrian's gaze sharpened. Liz squirmed under his stare. He's so strict. Little by little, I'm reducing how much I depend on him. It's really exhausting and suffocating. But more important than the workload, Liz lowered her eyes, her expression complicated. As long as I think about Senior's workload becoming lighter, I'm filled with motivation. Adrian held a teacup, a hint of a smile at the corner of his lips. Lately, his complexion has improved a lot, too. Liz tightened her grip on the quill again. All right, I need to focus and work hard. Before she knew it, night had fallen. Liz sprawled over the desk like her soul had left her body. I am dying. Adrian looked at her. This scene felt strangely familiar. Senior, you really handled this much work? Adrian said calmly. Sometimes it was a little difficult. Liz shot upright. A little? Only a little? Adrian lifted his teacup. That's an exaggeration. I just slept a bit less. That's all. Resting her chin in her hand, Liz asked, have you been sleeping well lately, Senior? Weren't you taking sleeping pills all the time? I thought that now that your workload has decreased, you should finally be able to rest properly. Adrian countered, why don't you worry about yourself for once? Liz's cheeks flushed red. She pouted inwardly. Ugh, he's saying things that make people worry again. Liz suddenly asked, but now that I think about it. Senior, why did you marry me in the first place? Adrian paused. HM. Liz continued, well, I'm from a noble family too, but the Chadia family is on an entirely different level. Not to mention their wealth. If you had married someone from the Chadia family, it would have been more advantageous for you. Adrian looked thoughtful. That's true. Liz's face turned bright red. Wow, I can't even argue with that. Compared to me, someone from the Chadia family would be far more capable. Anyway, this marriage was arranged without either of us knowing. Adrian smiled gently. I'm very glad that my empress is not someone from the Chadia family. I'm truly happy that I got to marry you. Liz Frohman. I'm glad. I mean that sincerely. Liz's cheeks instantly burned crimson. What? Really? Liz thought, my heart is pounding so hard. She stood by the window under the bright sunlight. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning split across the sky. Liz shrieked. Still shaken. She covered her ears. That scared me to death. Is it going to rain? It was bright and clear this morning. Holding his teacup, Adrian said calmly, at this time of year, sudden rain isn't unusual. Layla came running in frantically. Your Majesty the Empress. Liz looked at her. What is it? Layla, why are you rushing over like that? Layla, breathing hard, said, something terrible has happened. Liz asked, something terrible? Calm down and speak slowly. Layla stammered, why your father. I heard he was seriously injured. Liz's whole body went rigid, her pupils shrinking sharply. The palace's golden roof blurred behind the curtain of rain as Layla rushed into the room. Your Majesty the Empress. Layla's voice was choked with tears. Count Frohman, your father has been gravely injured. Liz froze stiff. It was as if her blood had instantly turned to ice. She ran wildly through the corridor, the world twisting and blurring before her eyes. Ever since coming to the future, I've been searching for a way to go back, but I had also tried my best to live here. It's not that I never thought about my parents. It was precisely because I feared this moment arriving, that I always wanted to see them. The past surged over her like a tide. 5 years had passed in the blink of an eye. I was afraid of seeing how they had grown old. It would break my heart. A young attendant poked his head through the door, looking tense. The young attendant's face was pale. Your Majesty the Empress. Liz grabbed his arm and ordered, prepare the carriage at once. The attendant looked bewildered. Tears filled Liz's eyes. There's no time. We have to go to Count Frohman's estate immediately. The attendant stammered, but, Your Majesty. In weather like this, Adrian grabbed her wrist. Wait, Liz. It's too dangerous to go out right now. You have to calm down. Liz violently shook him off, her voice sharp and piercing. Are you telling me to just wait quietly? She lowered her head, gasping. Let go of me, Senior. My father. He's old. What if he really? Liz burst into tears. I can't accept that outcome. Adrian explained. The roads are all mud right now. A carriage could easily get stuck, and one wrong move could cause a serious accident. He looked exhausted. I understand how you feel, but at least for now, Liz suddenly looked up and cried out, Senior, you don't understand at all. Liz's voice was full of despair. My family is in danger. You have no idea how I feel right now. She shouted hoarsely. How can you tell me to wait? Adrian's eyes darkened. The last trace of reason in Liz's green eyes shattered. Adrian released her hand and let out a soft sigh. In a low voice, Adrian said, I do know how you feel. He closed his eyes with self-mockery. What am I even saying? Suddenly, Adrian pulled her into his arms. Liz crashed against his solid chest, her body jolting. Adrian held her tightly, as if he intended to bear her collapse together with her. In his arms, Liz stopped trembling. Adrian ordered, prepare the carriage. The young attendant froze. What? But Adrian's tone allowed no objection. Use the strongest materials and choose the sturdiest horses. We're not taking the forest shortcut. Liz raised tearful eyes. Adrian added, it'll take longer, but... He took Liz's hand. Let's go. Adrian gave her a gentle smile. Don't worry. I'll make sure you arrive safely. Rain beat against the windows with dull thuds. Servants opened umbrellas in the courtyard. The carriage is ready, Your Majesty. Adrian had prepared everything. Only immediate departure remained. Liz stood beneath the umbrella, pale-faced and hollow-eyed. Adrian turned and ordered the attendants. Make sure the horses don't run too fast. The attendants answered respectfully, yes. Adrian instructed them. Choose the safest route and get to the Frohman estate as quickly as possible. Liz kept her head lowered, golden hair hiding her face. You have no idea how I feel right now. My family is in danger. Adrian looked at her, his expression complicated. Standing in the rain, he looked full of regret. I shouldn't have said that. It wasn't that he didn't understand. In truth, he understood better than anyone, because Senior too had experienced the pain of losing someone dear. His mother, the former empress, was said to have been a gentle and kind person. She had always treated him with love, and he had loved the former empress just as deeply. The former empress had always been frail and sickly. In the end, she died before his eyes while he was still a child. And yet I said something like that to someone who had already lived through such pain. But Adrian only reminded her, "Be careful on the road." Liz nodded. "I will." She was about to get into the carriage when Adrian called to her again. "If anything happens, send word immediately. If you need a doctor or medicine from the capital, I'll send it at once." Liz froze. Thank you." Liz thought, "Senior is so considerate to me." She hesitantly spoke. Senior." "No, Your Majesty. I shouldn't be this clingy." Adrian looked at her, his expression shifting slightly. Summoning her courage, Liz asked, "Could you come with me? I'm sorry for getting angry with you earlier. I thought I could face this on my own, but without you. I'm so scared." "Senior, can you stay with me? I really need you right now."